Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to brother LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to brother LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
LT cooking your ass.
How are you not a sellout if you're giving white people that type of wealth when they've already stolen enough from us? How could you find a white woman who could ever understand you as well as a sister?
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I mentioned people's actions is because you yourself exclusively date black, yet you're one of the biggest scammers in our community. It's been 12 years and you still have
Why you do me like that? Why you do me like that, bro? Oh man! Oh,
we was going good until Michael went a little left. Mike, come on.
Now, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. Here you have a guy who all the time is hanging out in the FBA chat rooms. He's calling people tethers and all of this. But I've never heard of an FBA defending the right to want to date white women. Here's what he doesn't understand. Both Tariq and Umar heavily disagree on the African and African American community being one. We get it, right? There is some difference of opinion there. But when it comes to interracial dating and marrying, both of these guys are fundamentally sound on that. How can you be a person claiming FBA, but you want to have relationships with white women? Oh, and by the way, just so you know, yeah, that white woman he had a relationship with, here's what her father had to say about Mike.
Information out. He's selling himself as a real estate agent. We know he lives in a van. We know about everything. We're just trying to get as many people to say, "Hey, look at this guy. He's scamming you guys." Yeah. So I
tell you that he was a squatter at my daughter's house. He stole her possessions. I know secondhand that he what was that story about him? He rented a house and was subletting it without the right to sublet it. He's definitely a scammer.
Early this morning, I got an email from Brother Mark Cruz.
LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, so let's get right into this one. All right, so I know y'all seen the titling, but more times.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Listen, y'all, everybody's taking an L in this one. Everybody. Okay, so O'Shea Duke Jackson takes a couple of W's here. He points out a few things and cooks ZestyTv. So O'Shea, although O'Shea kind of takes a minor L here, you will give O'Shea the W in this one. O'Shea is in the W column in this one. Umar Johnson takes an L here, and so does ZestyTv. This is a dusty-ass moment. Let's get into this one, y'all.
And the title of the email says, Umar has the nerve to talk about family values. And of course, Mark Cruz is a TikTok creator who's highly critical of Dr. Umar Johnson. And he couldn't believe the hypocrisy that Dr. Umar had on this stream. And once I clicked on the link, I saw this particular title. Dr. Umar Johnson talks live about black relationships with hardly initiated. So let me kind of tell you what YouTubers do. When you have a channel like this, they have segments in which they space out the actual interview. So I can click on, the particular parts in which the interview transpired. And I started to do that just to watch those parts to make the content and try to figure out the hypocritical part. But once I got to the impact of trauma on relationships, I noticed a person that's very familiar, Mike TV. Now, rewind, Nemo! Mike TV is a YouTuber who pretty much, in my honest opinion, is a complete no talent. What he does all day is make content about other YouTubers, not even celebrities, not even politics, other YouTubers. And he does so by doxing them for no reason.
Yep. That's exactly what he does. This is why I don't fuck with Mike. This is exactly why I don't fuck with Mike TV. Mike TV, aka ZestyTv, who used to do Zesty Time and Zesty Hour on his dusty ass channel. This nigga's gay for pay. This motherfucker, y'all have to understand. Y'all know how I don't fuck with Anton, right? I do not fuck with ZestyTv because of the shit he did to Anton and Anton's wife. And I don't even fuck with Anton. It's strictly off principle. This guy came to my comment section trying to hit me with super chats. I took that goddamn money.
I'm getting rich.
But I still proceeded to cook him.
He got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Hey, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
So this is the thing. This guy crosses all sorts of lines. He targets family members, children, tries to dox wives and children, and he has no YouTube. There's just like this. There's this unspoken YouTube law that even the dusty YouTubers understand, even the beef sector understands, and this motherfucker crosses all the lines. We've seen a folk recently banished from a sector because he crossed the same lines as ZestyTv, and he was relevant in this space for so damn long. I don't even know why people kept mentioning his name and giving him clout. I'm not even mentioning his name right now, but some of y'all know who I'm talking about. He's been banished from all sorts of panels and manosphere sectors or whatnot, black YouTube sectors, beef sectors. He's gone because he crosses certain lines. So is ZestyTv. He's one of them dusty ass motherfuckers. So I don't fuck with this guy at all. So let's get into this.
Of course, he's done episodes on Anton Daniels, yours truly, MTR, but he's been focused a lot on Dr. Umar Johnson. And that's very interesting.
Solo? Nah, man. Not Solo. The Solo doesn't cross those type of lines, but, let's get into it.
Because, Dr. Umar Johnson does deserve it. But I noticed something about this particular guy, Mike TV. See, this guy is a convicted felon who's half black, half white, and he loves white women. So much so, he's even behind on child support to that same white woman.
Yeah, and till this day, I still have that child support court that I have not released of ZestyTv months behind in his child support. So
I've seen him do it.
we have that to this day.
To this day. To this day. To this day.
But he's such a big supporter of FBA, which is no problem because typically that's historical diaspora in the African American world or in the United States.
All right, so in this video right here, we are going to see all of the hypocrisy in the world. We're going to see all the contradictory statements, all the idiocy, the pro-black idiocy that doesn't actually make sense. I, as somebody that align with B1, I don't align with a lot of the shit we're going to hear in these talking points, but let's get into this.
States, But this is a guy who hates Africans. That's a different story. He always talks about delineating from Africans because he's an FBA. And I want you to hear that particular sequence right now.
They call into Tariq's Twitter space every night vocalizing their issue. So clearly you're off your rocker when you think that Africans don't care about whether or not we delineate. You being here clearly is proof that y'all care for some reason, because you're a second-generation immigrant and you're worried about whether or not we want to identify as African American or foundational Black American. So I'll be more specific, sir. When it comes to you,
you hear this shit?
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
All the shit he talks is divisive fuckery. He wants to talk like he's pro-black, he's FBA, all this shit, but all the things he says in accordance to black folks is divisive. Oh, tether babble this, Africans aren't one with African Americans. He's just so full of shit. So he is pushing division. All right? And while he is mixed, he's not full black, he's mixed race with a white baby mother and some white children. So what the hell are we doing out here? What in the hell are we doing out here? And you're talking this pro-black shit. Make it make sense. Your children are even less black than you. They're more white than black. And you're pro-black? What the fuck is going on out here? All these motherfuckers need to sit their dumb ass down.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Specifically, what vested interest do you have in what we classify ourselves as?
What you call yourself as African Americans. That's what it is. You're the
No.
descendants of Africans.
I said, what vested interest do you have in what we classify ourselves as? Why is it your business? Why does it make you feel some type of way? Why do you have an opinion on it? If, like you said, Africans don't care.
Now, the thing is, my issue is you guys preach xenophobia all day, every day in Twitter spaces against one specific group of people. But you don't have the same smoke for the white folks who put their foot on your ass for 500 years.
Can you give an example of us practicing xenophobia?
That's exactly what you do in Twitter spaces. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Can you give an example? I heard an FBA say this. I saw somebody type that. Can you give an example of how we're xenophobic?
You know what I'm saying. Why are you playing dumb?
So I'm supposed to read your mind and just know what you're talking about? This is really dipping into the realm of tether babble.
You hear that? Idiot. What an idiot. So this is dipping into tether babble. This guy is one stupid motherfucker.
Gotcha, bitch.
He said this is dipping into, this you're xenophobic. This is xenophobic rhetoric. And this motherfucker comes with, now this is tether babble. You proved his point. You said give him an example, and saying tether babble is xenophobic fuckery. Oh, they're automatically fucked up and they're nobody to fuck with and you shouldn't like them. You should separate from them. They're not included in the group because they're a tether. Like, what the fuck are we talking about out here?
This is really dipping into the realm of tether babble. You can't cite a single source to support your claim.
You did it to yourself. What is wrong with this guy?
You just up here talking to talk.
Negroes like you, right? I call them cotton genes. They used to breed Negroes like you to create division amongst black people.
Sir, why would we care what your opinion is on our history with you and your people?
That is facts right there. Folks like him are sent to cause division. I said it from time. Folks like him are agents for anarchy. They're just here to stir up shit and fuck people over. They're not really trying to ascend because they don't know how to ascend. They don't know how to build a sustainable platform where they can continuously pop out material. They're just trying to drag everybody else into the dusty gulag that they're stuck in. That's what it comes down to. You're dusting it up. My nigga, you're homeless. My nigga, secure a crib before you start calling out frauds when you're a scammer yourself. What are we doing out here?
Wow. People are failures. You said you're a second-generation immigrant. What country did your parents flee from?
Bro, what is wrong with this guy?
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
By definition, xenophobia, dislike or prejudice against people from other countries. This motherfucker said provide an example of his xenophobia. Oh, you trying to gaslight the motherfucker. Oh, so you're here from some other country. You fleed from another country. It's tether babble. That is typical xenophobia. What's wrong with this idiot?
I see where I came from, but we're not failures
Oh, in classic Tether fashion, he don't want to say where he came from, y'all. He got opinions
But
of
ain't you,
us
ain't,
and
ain't you
white
like
people and
ain't
cotton
you,
this and cotton that, and you too chicken shit to even tell us where your mommy and daddy come from.
And all this tether bullshit that they want to hate on folks that are from the Caribbean especially, it's like when they talk about ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, what do you think us in the Caribbean are from? Like, I'm from Jamaica and Guyana. My mother is from Guyana. My father's from Jamaica. I was born in Canada, Toronto. So where do you think my ancestors are from? They're descendants of slaves the same way. All this divisive bullshit, it's like, man, what are we doing out here? It's just filthy work. You're not pro-black. You're not pro-anything. You're pro-division. Agent for anarchy, typical. Let me address something real quick in the chat. So yesterday I had to remove a wrench. So shout out to JPINC. My bad, y'all, but we have to put you on.
We're putting you on probation. We're putting you on probation.
Don't mean to single you out, but that mistake you made timing that nigga out in the chat, new supporter, didn't return. We got to take your wrench for about a week. Those type of fuck ups, man. We trying to grow the channel. When folks in the chat want to, prevent new folks from coming in, you can't have that. You can't have that. Folks will just be reluctant to jump in the chat because they think it's some sort of cult, where it's like you have to say everything by the textbook or you're getting timed out. Or if you say something to somebody within the chat, not the person that's just not the host of the channel, the person in the chat, they're getting timed out. We can't set up that type of environment for the chat. So even if it was an accident, we got to remove that for a week. So we putting you on probation, sir.
We putting you on probation. We're putting you on probation.
I wonder why that is.
Ain't you a mulatto?
Now, if you can hear the guy at the end of that, he asks, "Aren't you a mulatto?" And it's interesting because he is a mulatto. His dad definitely is white. His mom might be black, but we don't know if she's African American or not. But what we know is he's so hard on all the other blacks in America when all he does is booty clap his slums, deal with white women. And so he's so busy talking about the FBA stuff, right? But this is interesting. At this particular point, Dr. Umar Johnson was on this show, Hardly Initiated. And somebody super chatted a question that was biracial. And this was what Dr. Umar Johnson said.
My mom, shout out to Tamisha Ford, she says, my mom is white and my father is black. If race matters more than spirit, what are you saying about biracial children? Who do you propose we date?
Okay. First of all, you're assuming that Caucasians have a spirit. That's number one.
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
Bro, what does this do for anybody? This rhetoric does nothing for nobody. Oh, Caucasians have no spirit. Man, this shit is racist as shit. Folks got so comfortable with being able to be racist. Oh, we were discriminated against. Oh, the slavery. So we could just be racist to anybody and just say, oh, you have no spirit and soul, and disparage somebody and treat them less than a human. What are we doing out here, bruh? This type of shit, this shit needs to die. Folks have been so used to hearing this shit from niggas, and it's just become numb to it. This is normal shit. They have no spirit. They're white. It's like, what? White folks try to say something. It's like, did you guys forget? Did you guys forget?
Stop that. You're white.
Can't say nothing. What are we talking about? You have no soul.
You're a victim. There we go, CSI.
Oh, a white person's walked in the room and thought they had a soul? Nope, not happening. Like, what are we doing out here? Like, what the fuck is this? This is filthy, man. We gotta stop this shit.
Damn.
Number two.
Now, he had a smirk on his face. He may have been joking, but let's be real.
Pan-African movement, we do not discriminate against mixed race Africans. So if your mother is white and your father is black, or your father is white and your mother is black, once again, if you identify with your African family, I have no issue at all with marrying a mixed race African sister. I've dated mixed race African sisters. Martin Delaney, the grandfather of Pan-Africanism, was married to a mixed race African sister. Some of our Pan-Africanist forefathers were mixed race African men. So Bob Marley was mixed race. There's even some conjecture that the great Nat Turner might have been mixed race. So we don't discriminate. Why not? Because you're not responsible for how you got here. You understand? You had no control over that. You have the DNA of Africa in you, and if you're loyal to it, come on in and join the party. I just ask that the mixed race Africans don't play the fence. You want to be pro-black when Dr. Umar around, but you a straight up Jew when I'm not around. You see what I'm saying? So make up your mind that you're going to be a full-time African. If you make up your mind you're going to be a full-time African, we good.
Now, what he's saying is, listen, if you're biracial, you do have African blood. So we can't fault you for being biracial, but we can fault you for who you date. And then, guess who comes on the scene? Can I get a dun 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 sound effect? Oh yeah, Mike TV. And Mike TV has a problem with Dr. Umar. Let's find out what the question is.
You know what? Let's bring the brother. We got Mike in the chat here. Mike, welcome to the stage.
Hey.
Welcome to Hardly Initiated, my brother. Can you hear us?
Loud and clear. Mic check, mic check.
Do me a favor, Mike. Give me your age, your location, and I want to hear your take on this.
29, California. And Umar's not going to like me because I believe that you can date who you want to date, just don't be a... And, you know, we regard Frederick Douglass with high esteem, and he married a white woman at the end of the day. So I look at a man's actions more so than who he dates.
Let me respond to my brother, and I appreciate the dialogue because we still brothers even if we disagree.
Yeah, for me, I think out the gun, ZestyTV's statement is flawed because you can't be talking pro-black this, pro-black that, and you're not having a black family at all. Like, what is that? This whole discriminating against folks, saying you're not FBA this, you're not FBA that, but then your wife is not that either, and you're discriminating against folks that aren't that. It makes no goddamn sense, first of all. Secondly, you are barely black. Some people might look at him and think that he's racially ambiguous. He's mixed. You're still black, but you're mixed. So when you interracial date, that child is barely coming out black at all. Like, what are you talking about? That kills your, like, it's just foolishness. Shout out to Lee with the $2 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Lee says, I'm not playing today. Get the likes up. It's free. That's facts, man. What are we doing out here, man?
Was 0 down, no credit. Yeah.
Them things are free. Let's get these likes up, chat. Let's get these likes up. Let's get into this.
I want to clarify the Frederick Douglass piece. You're absolutely right. About a decade before his death as an old man, he married a white woman. But let's not forget about Queen Mother Anna Marie Douglas, who he was married to for nearly 50 years, who gave birth to all 5 of his children, who helped him escape from slavery to freedom, and who ran the Underground Railroad in Rochester, New York during his absence. I'm only bringing that up because we talk about the white woman so much that a lot of our children don't know. Frederick Douglass had a dark-skinned, chocolate, beautiful, nappy-headed wife. So I want to make sure Anna Marie Douglas gets her due. Now, to your point that we can marry who we want and not be a... How is not building a family with a black woman? How can you be exempt from...
Jesus Christ. All right, so we have a question. The first question that pops up into my mind right now is...
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
You're saying that you can't be exempt from being a coon when you don't have a black family, but you made black baby mothers. You don't really have a black family. You just went for... and then births. All right, so Tampa Supreme...
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
Now, you know exactly why I'm saying that. Because when I ran that story, I covered it the way mainstream media covered it with the Brick Lady story. And then I ran the retraction, lamenting the fact that the bitch lied. That was 4 months ago. She was on the run. I did the video. It did twice the views of the first video. Now you acting like a goddamn fool. I don't owe MTR an apology for shit. These dusty-ass manosphere niggas ran with a goddamn storyline that was capped. So she was lying about being bricked. We all know she was lying about being bricked now. Secondly, they made up a story and used these goddamn TikTok clips where she was fake slapping dudes and say, oh, this bitch was slapping dudes. A lady that slaps men finally got the just dues, X, Y, and Z. So they were running with a narrative. Everything I said about MTR was facts. Even though she was still lying and I ran the retraction on that story, everything I said was still befitting of his behavior. He went out there and said, oh, he reframed the entire story. He put a clip and said, oh, we can't show this because it will be against the YouTube guidelines. So she slapped the man and then she was bricked. None of that happened. So me calling him out for making up a fake story when he was trying to say the brick was deserved because she slapped the man, and then he clipped out a part and said you can't show it for YouTube guidelines, and then I showed the exact same clip where it was a skit and it wasn't in the same vicinity. That was cap. So he got held to the fire for his bullshit. MTR and just caping for all men's aimlessly, dick riding Floyd and saying, oh, look at this couple and these passport bros just having success in Thailand. Meanwhile, that's a goddamn prostitute and that nigga was out of the country and the next day. What are we talking about, man?
Get him out of here! He's got no place in here! Get rid of him! Okay.
So next time, Tampa Supreme, you come in my chat section.
You scared. You pussy. Sorry, you pussy. Don't be pussy.
Respond to what I say there. Don't bring this to my goddamn stream looking for clout and attention. Because you damn well already got the same fucking answer. Get the fuck out of my face, my nigga.
If you do not build family with black woman.
So by your own rhetoric, it's okay if we marry a white woman as long as we marry a black woman first.
No, you should not be marrying a white woman at all.
See, Zesty was too slow to understand what Umar Johnson said. He said he already had a black family and he already had kids lined up for the wealth. So he was still giving back to his community, essentially, although he married a white woman before he perished. So that was the point that he was lamenting. Maybe he should have articulated those said points that I added in for a little bit of context, but let's get it.
Salvation of the African people rests on the shoulders of the African family. Do we not have an obligation to be with our own women?
Interesting. And I believe that you exclusively date sisters, right?
Yes. And what about the wealth argument? Women, on average, outlive their husbands. So when we transition, if we married a snow bunny, is she going to use any of your wealth to empower the black community after you're gone, i.e. Kobe Bryant, i.e. Marvelous Marvin Hagler?
Now, Kobe Bryant has... This is why I'm not against interracial dating. I'm not one of these weird, divisive-ass motherfuckers. I can be pro-black in the way I move, in the way my woman is a black woman, not the way... You don't have to... You know what I mean? But people can do what the fuck they want. We live in the free world. You can do what the fuck you want. Ain't nobody dick police and pause. But when your rhetoric is that of which of a pro-black FBA X, Y, and Z, you better fit the actual mold. You should actually be an FBA, an actual full black person if you're gonna be talking about this FBA fuckery and trying to discriminate and separate other people. And then you're campaigning for interracial dating. So you're trying to eliminate all the black in you, which you kind of already did with your children, because you have a white baby mother.
No, all these great black men who married these white women. James Earl Jones is an elder. We're not expecting him to go anywhere anytime soon. Is Sidney Poitier still with us, or did he?
I'm not sure.
Can somebody?
I'm gonna look that up.
Look that up, please.
Nah, see, this is what it is. When you're actually black, when you're full black, you can interracial date and still be pro-black because your children are still biracial. They're still black. They're not going to be full black. You're not upholding the full blackness, but you're still have biracial kids. But when you're half black and you interracial date, it's like if you're half black and you're on the lighter side and you're preaching all this pro-black shit, you should probably get somebody that's full black to continue the black lineage if you're talking all this pro-black fuckery.
I don't want to speak it if it's not correct. We don't want to force no elders into the land of the ancestors before their time.
Well, the only reason I mentioned that I judge a man by his actions is because
he passed. Sidney Poitier passed away, married to a white woman. He was a very wealthy man. That white woman got all the Sidney Poitier's money. That non-African Latino got all of Kobe Bryant's money. That white woman got all of Marvelous Marvin Hagler's money. This is wealth that we need to empower the black community and build institutions. How are you not a sellout if you're giving white people that type of wealth when they've already stolen enough from us? How could you find a white woman who could ever understand you as well as a sister?
So let's stop the show right there. You see, that's very interesting.
Now, what's very interesting about this, O'Shea, this is where O'Shea takes the L, because
I've seen him do it.
I could have swore in the intro we seen ZestyTv call him a scammer and get hung up on, but for some reason O'Shea left that out of the footage. So that's where O'Shea holds the L. Other than that, he's right about calling them out for the points that he's about to call them out for. So let's get into this.
He don't have that energy when Dr. Umar is there, because Dr. Umar don't know the guy.
Now, he said he doesn't have that type of energy when Dr. Umar is... Wait, what did he say? See, this is the thing. Mike TV, ZestyTv over here, is on his channel trying to expose Dr. Umar Johnson, dropping video after video, which it's some of the points he makes about Dr. Umar's school and not being completed. Everybody's made those same points and they are true. It's like, my nigga, what the hell? You're going to take donation for like a decade and a half and not have the school completed? What the hell's going on out here? So that may be right, but you're doing all these exposed videos. You came here as a troll. You didn't come here to have a serious conversation. This is a platform where they're doing a podcast. They're not looking for gotcha moments. They're having a conversation that's supposed to be constructive. This motherfucker came through like a goddamn troll. That's what this bitch ass nigga did. He came through like a troll looking for a gotcha moment, and he looked like an idiot. The fans were like, what the hell? What the hell was that? This shit didn't do nothing for them. They're like, that didn't further the conversation. He didn't do nothing. Shout out to Brother Jumbie, Stay Gold Radio with the $50 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
W's in the chat for Brother Jumbie. Brother Jumbie says, I hate this conversation amongst the brethren and the mandem. Be loyal to your people. It's simple. You don't want to be a coon, but you want to date big booty broads from different ethnic groups or ethnic backgrounds. Do it, nigga. Nigga. Just be loyal to your people. And that's facts. Do it, nigga. Date outside of your race. Just be loyal to your goddamn people. But this is the thing. You want to act like, well, not you, Brother Jumbie. Shout out to Brother Jumbie. W's in the chat for Brother Jumbie. ZestyTv wants to act like some superior FBA agent where he's above everybody and he is the person that could arbitrarily ascribe who is black and who is of the black hierarchy, meanwhile being mixed race, campaigning and opining to date white women. It makes no goddamn sense. There's the hypocrisy. If you want to, exactly what Brother Jumbie said. Everything Brother Jumbie said is facts. Be loyal to your people. It's that simple. You don't want to be a coon, but you want to date big booty broads from different ethnic backgrounds? Do it, nigga. Just be loyal to your people. That is fact. Shout out to Brother Jumbie, man. Whoops.
And I got the same criticism, Dr. Umar, that Mike TV has. But you see, all of that energy was silent when Dr. Umar was there because real one, Dima. This is where the disingenuous framing comes in, and O'Shea needs to hold an L because
Stop the cap.
shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's the one that dropped this video that made me privy to this information in the first place so I can get the entire interview. And he called them out, so he holds W's here. But this is disingenuous framing right here.
Same criticism, Dr. Umar, that Mike TV has. But you see, all of that energy was silent when Dr. Umar was there because real one, Dima.
He's saying he didn't have the criticism and the same energy, but he came in disputing his points. He came in trying to dispute his talking points. He had a problem with X, Y, and Z. He saw inconsistencies in his talking points, and at the end, he called him a scammer. So he came for the fuckery. Although ZestyTv himself is a scammer and a fraud, and he's homeless, dusting it up. Nobody hit the super chat over there.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Somebody make sure that nigga gets a goddamn job. Get a job, nigga. Wait, don't I still have that? Where's that one? Hold up. Where in the hell I haven't used that shit in a minute. I don't even know where that shit is.
Man, this some old bullshit.
This is exactly what he said about Dr. Umar just a few days ago.
Oh, there we go.
Get a job, nigger.
Get to work, Mike. Somebody has to pay the bills. You can't live on the sidewalk forever, my nigga. You can't be exposing folks on YouTube from the back of a van. The gym ain't gonna let you shower there forever, my nigga. You gotta get a home.
We're finally doing it. Oh boy, if there was ever a man who deserves to be exposed, if there was ever a grifter, a scammer, a fraudster, a schemer, a womanizer, god damn it, if there was ever someone detrimental to the black community by and large, I think it would be Umar Where's the School Johnson. I mean, story has it he's collected somewhere between the region of 900,000 to 1.5 million over the last 10 years to build a fictional school. Guys, I think one day Umar is going to come to us on IG Live from a dusty ass motel with a roach on the back wall.
Yeah, and you'll be right there with him, nigga.
I've seen him do it.
Dusty ass motel, my nigga. That's better than your living conditions. Why would you speak like that? Why? This is low hanging fruit. What are we doing out here? Nonetheless, Umar Johnson, come on, man. You built that school. You have not enrolled any children. You keep shooting from that gym and talking about the coats of paint you got on the wall. My nigga, no one cares about that shit. So when it comes to that point about the school, he's kind of right.
He did that shit. Guilty as fuck. And he's going to say, family, I finally got the school. I got the school. And he's going to hold up a fish tank with a school of fish or something, because he's not actually about curriculum. He's not actually about teaching the youth. I mean, if anything, he's really only about his cash apps.
Any more cash apps?
Come on. I mean, can you take your own advice? I thought it's supposed to be consciousness over coochie.
Politics over punani. It is revolution over romance. Get your mind right.
Now, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. Here you have a guy who all the time is hanging out in the FBA chat rooms. He's calling people tethers and all of this. But I've never heard of an FBA defending the right to want to date white women. Here's what he doesn't understand. Both Tariq and Umar heavily disagree on the African and African American community being one. We get it, right? There is some difference of opinion.
Yep, all them niggas is divisive as fuck. Why? Because it goes to their hustle. It's a race bait and cash grab. We all know what it is, man. They mix in some of the good points with some of the historic facts and some of the knowledge that some people may be yearning for, and then they have their own spin on it and their own objective. What word am I looking for? They have their own motherfucking agenda. That's what it comes down to. It's to race bait, collect money, and run their whatever agenda that they have.
Opinion there. But when it comes to interracial dating and marrying, both of these guys are fundamentally sound on that. How can you be a person claiming FBA, but you want to have relationships with white women? Oh, and by the way, just so you know, yeah, that white woman he had a relationship with, here's what her father had to say about Mike.
Information out. He's selling himself as a real estate agent.
Wait, isn't that E Black?
Oh, he lives in a van. We know about everything. We're just trying to get as many people to say, "Hey, look at this guy. He's scamming you guys."
Yeah.
So
well,
I
tell you that he was a squatter at my daughter's house. He stole her possessions. He I know secondhand that he what was that story about him? He possessions. He a squatter at my daughter's house. He
So this is his father-in-law, or the father of the baby mother. So he was a squatter at his daughter's house.
Stole her possessions.
He stole her possessions.
I've seen him do it.
He I know secondhand that he what was that story about him? He rented a house and was subletting it without the right to sublet it. He's definitely a scammer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this, he had an attorney. We were negotiating to get him out of our house. And we had an attorney, and if you give me your email, I can send it to you when I go through my papers and get his name. But he might be a good resource, because he knows what happened in some detail. He's a lawyer. He knows the other. who has also a really bad reputation. So let me get a pen here. Can you hold on 1 second?
No problem.
That's right.
Yo, let me get a pen. Hey, yo.
You have a guy who is homeless. Oh, by the way, let me show you the homeless clip.
Well, I'm homeless on Thanksgiving. This is my first time being homeless. Last night I checked into a homeless shelter and was lucky enough to get a bed. This shelter provides 3 meals a day and access to social services. Like and subscribe if you'd like to follow the journey. Over the next 30 days, my plan is to earn $3,000 so I can get enough money to move into a new apartment. All I have is my phone, my computer, and $100. If you'd like to help, links are in the comment section. And to learn how I found myself in this situation, stay tuned. I'll be posting another video soon.
Sorry, that was petty. So he's a guy fighting to be in the FBA African American community, thou shalt not delineate, but he wants to go ahead and have white women and pretty much reproduce with them to make more white people, which doesn't make any sense. How are you going to preserve your lineage if you are an FBA, which he is not, because his dad is full white? But how are you going to do that when you have a white girlfriend? And if you have a white girlfriend and a white child, they're probably going to have white relationships. You see how this guy is grifting? He's talking about Umar is grifting. Well, which is true, Umar is grifting.
Yep.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Shout out to O'Shea for calling them both out on this, because although he's calling out ZestyTv for his clout chasing antics and his grifting, he's still holding Umar Johnson accountable for his grifting.
But this guy is a fraud. This guy has felonies. And if you don't believe me, let's play E-Black's clip.
You gonna have to get you a real job now, partner. You done fucked up the YouTube. I can't believe a really that broke can really f up his only bag. This is your only bag. You got felonies for theft. How you fuck YouTube like?
Yo, he pulled up the wrong clip. He should have pulled up the E-Black clip where he was showing all the court files and all the felonies, where he had it on the screen.
Wait. You mean to tell me you got felonies and you f a YouTube bag? Oh, you going back to the van.
So this is what's going on. People live in a delusional world that doesn't make sense, but these are the people that say they are pro-blacks, they are FBAs. Like, this guy is a joke. Now, Umar is definitely a joke too, but this guy is also a joke. There is no group in any of the pro-black world and pro-black spaces that will say, hey, it's okay for you to interracially date as long as you're not a sellout. No, all of it is selling out. Any sort of that thinking of interracial dating in pro-black spaces is almost typically prohibited. It don't matter if you FBA.
Okay, so I have a question. Me, as somebody that I align with B1 Black First, I'm not FBA. I'm Caribbean, so that doesn't work. They call me a tether. It is what it is. I myself, I have a black woman. I'm committed to a black family. Where it's like, okay, that's me personally, but I'm not going to try to act like nobody else can interracial. I'm not trying to block and shield against interracial dating while being for my people. Am I against what he's saying? Is my rhetoric negative, or it's not of or not aligned with anything that is pro-black in that sense? Asking to inquire, because I don't run around claiming pro-black and hierarchies with this FB. I don't do all that shit, so let's get into this.
Or Nation of Islam, or Hebrew Israelite, or 5% Nation, or Pan-African. It's always looked down upon from peoples in those communities. But this is what happens when you want to grift to get views, but you really don't believe what you're talking about. And oh, by the way, stop the show. You're not going to get me as, oh, well, you're not an FBA. Both my parents were from Louisiana. They moved to California in the Great Migration. Yes, my grandmother picked cotton, all of that. Complete, as you would say, hashtag FBA, hashtag ADOS, Afro-American. My mom went to UC Davis. My dad went to UCLA. Yeah, all of that, right?
And this is where the stream takes a turn.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
All right, y'all. Get ready for it, man.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
Shout out to O'Shea, but O'Shea's more pro-black man and pro-black manosphere than he is pro-black family. Let's keep it a stack. Shout out to O'Shea. We support O'Shea out here, but we're going to have to keep it all the way a stack. You're still more aligned with the manosphere talking points and black men in X, Y, and Z and defending dusty-ass motherfuckers like the Passport Bros. So you're still more aligned with that. So everybody needs to come full circle with their message and make sure that they have everything aligned properly. Because when you're just pro-black men and you're on the same side as mediocre tutorials and reviews, and you're on that save yourself black men talk, and you're not really, that's not really pro-black, that's not for the community. You're always disparaging and calling out the wrongs in a black woman, but trying to turn the cheek and say, oh, this is a great brother. Shout out to the brother Fleece. It's like, wait, what the hell?
Stop it. Get some help.
So there's also that. You got to keep it a stack with this pro-black community, and everybody at some point, like, steps into the valley of a grift and what is most lucrative for them in their talking points. But if you're really going to do this pro-black shit, I don't want to see Tariq Nasheed calling Tommy Sotomayor crispy just because you don't like him, taking a shot at his skin complexion, which is a dark hue. So you're basically disparaging everybody of that skin complexion and darker by calling him crispy. What type of bullshit is that? That's not pro-black, nigga. So when I hear shit like that, like, everybody kind of needs to adjust their talking points and get a clue a little bit. You know what I mean? Got to see their blind spots in their ideology and their talking points. Even me, that's why I asked my question. I'm like, me being open for everybody else, oh, you can interracial date, I don't mind it, what the fuck, it's not my relationship. Is that a flaw in the whole pro-black shit? Although I do not tout pro-blackness. They put that label on me, but I don't say, oh yeah, I'm pro-black, I'm calling Kaepernick. Nah, we ain't doing that.
I went to Howard University, all of that, all right? So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Already with you for all you do.
See, if I didn't cut it there, you would see the Negro Manosphere and Black Men Are Perfect shirts. So that kind of aligns with the point that I'm trying to lament, with being more aligned with Black Manosphere, black men, not really black women and black family. But it is what it is. Let's get it.
Who we gonna bring up on this joint, man? You know what?
So this is the full unedited interview of Umar Johnson's debate with ZestyTv, and then some of the following talking points, which I have never seen before. I didn't watch this entirety. I didn't watch the entirety of this interview because I have no interest in listening to Umar Johnson talk for an hour and a half, but let's get into this.
Brother, we got Mike in the chat here. Mike, welcome to the stage.
Hey.
Welcome to Hardly Initiated, my brother. Can you hear us?
Loud and clear. Mic check, mic check.
Do me a favor, Mike. Give me your age, your location, and I want to hear your take on this.
29, California. And Umar's not going to like me because I believe that you can date who you want to date, just don't be a coon. And, you know, we regard Frederick Douglass with high esteem, and he married a white woman at the end of the day. So I look at a man's actions more so than who he dates.
Let me respond to my brother, and I appreciate the dialogue because we still brothers even if we disagree. I want to clarify the Frederick Douglass piece. You're absolutely right. About a decade before his death as an old man, he married a white woman. But let's not forget about Queen Mother Anna Marie Douglass, who he was married to for nearly 50 years, who gave birth to all 5 of his children, who helped him escape from slavery to freedom, and who ran the Underground Railroad in Rochester, New York during his absence. I'm only bringing that up because we talk about the white woman so much that a lot of our children don't know. Frederick Douglass had a dark-skinned, chocolate, beautiful, nappy-headed wife. So I want to make sure Anna Marie Douglass gets her due. Now, to your point that we can marry who we want and not be a coon. How is not building a family with a black woman? How can you be exempt from cooning if you do not build family with black woman?
Once again, if that statement is true, if you can't be exempt if you're not building a family, then Umar Johnson, I guess he says he has kids with a black woman. He considers that a family, but she's a baby mother. You guys aren't together. That is exactly what everybody complains about, which is the biggest detriment to our community. Single mothers, absent fathers, the biggest detriment. So you're a part of that program. So how is that pro-black? How is that furthering the cause?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
So by your own rhetoric, it's okay if we marry a white woman as long as...
Hold up, man.
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
My nigga, find a domicile, find a place of business to actually work. This guy's in a public cafe, my nigga. You're homeless. How are you on air trying to make debates when you're homeless? You're in a public cafe with your laptop, my nigga.
Can you be exempt from cooning if you do not build family with black woman?
So by your own rhetoric, it's okay if we marry a white woman as long as we marry a black woman first.
No, you should not be marrying a white woman at all. If the salvation of the African people rests on the shoulders of the African family, do we not have an obligation to be with our own women?
Interesting. And I believe that you exclusively date sisters, right?
Yes, and what about the wealth argument?
Do you know how stupid these arguments are? When you really look at it from a global perspective, I know a lot of Americans look at things from an American perspective only, and it's kind of hard to see anything outside of America being it like you're the top nation in the world. It's like fuck everybody else, they're dusting it up type shit. But when you look at it from a global perspective and you look at countries where the people that reside there are of that ethnic origin, these conversations make no sense. You guys are living in the free world, sir. You're in North America, you're in America, you're living in the free world. People are going to interracial date. They're going to do what they want. You're not trying to uphold your ethnic heritage in the free world the same way you would in Africa and the motherland, where it's implicit. You don't have to say it. It's just what people do because that's where your culture is. You're in a melting pot. You're in the free world. This conversation is asinine. Like, do what you want. This is why we have to harken back to Brother Jumby's tweet right here. This is why we have to harken, or not tweet, his super chat. Shout out to Brother Jumby. This is what I'm talking about. Date who you want. Just be loyal to your people. Don't be disparaging to your folks. Because really and truly, what are we really doing out here? This is asinine concept.
Women, on average, outlive their husbands. So when we...
Yeah, women outlive their husbands. So when you die at 81 and she has your money at 78 with a few years left, she's going to be like, yeah.
I'm getting rich.
And then a few years later... Damn, it worked, nigga. A few years later, it's like, what? These points are asinine too, but...
Transition, if we married a snow bunny, is she going to use any of your wealth to empower the black community after you're gone? I.e. Kobe Bryant, i.e. Marvelous Marvin Hagler?
And when you go i.e. Kobe Bryant, i.e. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, you are going to a small percentage of black folks that obtain that type of richness that die that quick. A very minute percentage. So you're using the outliers to justify a point for the majority. We're not doing that. And this is what I'm talking about. People are slick in these debates, but when you're able to react to it and break down the points, you see the asinine points that they take or make.
You know, all these great black men who married these white women. James Earl Jones is an elder. We're not expecting him to go anywhere anytime soon. Is Sidney Poitier still with us, or did he?
I'm not sure.
Can somebody
I'm gonna look that up.
Look that up, please? I don't want to speak it if it's not correct. We don't want to force no elders into the land of the ancestors.
You know what's more asinine about it too is Dr. Umar Johnson made a trip to Africa too, so he got to ingratiate himself with people in the motherland. So when you go to Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, Togo, Ghana, I said Ghana already, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Eritrea, none of these places are talking about, oh, we gotta date black to keep the race prosperous. We gotta maintain nobody's talking about that. It's implicit. It's what they just do because that's where their ethnic group is. It's in North America. Like these talking points, they're only for a certain subsect, and it's fruitless. It's a waste of time.
Before their time.
Well, the only reason I mentioned that I judge a man by his actions is because
he passed. Sidney Poitier passed away, married to a white woman. He was a very wealthy man.
These niggas struggle to mention 3 people. Oh, Sidney Poitier as well. Oh yeah, him too. It's like, bro.
A white woman got all the Sidney Poitier's money. That non-African Latino got all of Kobe Bryant's money. That white woman got all the
Taylor-made, that's the point. That's the point. That is the point. All right? You're saying it's not a problem there. Of course it's not a problem. This is a specific problem to American folks. and not American folks. I'm gonna say the West world. Wherever it's the free world, the West world, this is a West world problem. This is a problem in South America as well. So in the UK, Canada, America, South America, these are the talking points that we hear. Black families, keep black families together. What is pro-black X, Y, and Z? It's like, of course, we want to keep our population up in North America and in the free world. We want to have black families. All I do is campaign for black families on my channel. But to basically associate somebody with the word coon simply because they date outside of their race, if they're dating outside of their race, Shannon Sharpe, for an example. Shannon Sharpe dates white women. It's heavily known that Shannon Sharpe dates white Spanish outside of his race. Shannon Sharpe is always upholding the best interest for black folks on his platform. He's always speaking positively of black folks. He's not disparaging black women, not disparaging black men. Would we call him a coon and a sellout because he dates white women? That's what this conversation is really about.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler's mind. This is what,
because at the end of the day, we don't call black women coons and sellouts when they date white men. We don't do that at all.
That we need to empower the black community and build institutions. How are you not a sellout if you're giving white people that type of wealth when they've already stolen enough from us? How could you find a white woman who could ever understand you as well as a sister?
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I mentioned people's actions is because you yourself exclusively date black, yet you're one of the biggest scammers in our community. It's been 12 years since you black.
Why you do me like that?
See, this is where he lost, because he's like, oh, well, actually, no, he didn't actually lose that point. Hold up.
People's actions is because you yourself exclusively date black, yet you're one of the biggest scammers in our community. It's been 12 years since you black.
Why you do me like that? Why you do me like that, bro? Oh, man.
That's what it comes down to, though. That's where Umar, he has to hold his L here. Because really and truly, it wasn't Umar that picked apart Mike TV's talking points so much because he doesn't have any insight to him. I gotta change this title. This is more of O'Shea Duke Jackson Ether's ZestyTV, really and truly. Because he's not wrong about this, because you're not doing anything for the community, but you're dating black only, and you're not bunny hopping, as you like to say. But what are you doing for the community, really and truly? And you didn't really create a black family, you created baby mothers. So this is grifter and scammer calling out grifter and scammer. This is that Spider-Man meme. That's what this is. It's like, you may be right, but it's like, my nigga, the shoe is fitting for you too, so.
Oh, we was going good until Michael went a little left.
Mike, come on. Man. We in here rocking with Dr. Umar Johnson. Welcome to Hardly Initiated.
Some Pan-Africanism. Glad to be here, brothers.
Now, y'all are free to hit that link. Call in at any given time. Give your opinion on the matter. We can speak about interracial dating. We can speak about the negative stigma that black men get for interracial dating that black women don't wear. We could speak about a bunch of things. If y'all want to call in, hit the link. The link is pinned in the top of the description. The password to join the panel is test with a capital T. For folks that can't follow simple instructions. We have some people struggling sometimes in the back room. So it is what it is. Let's get into this.
Thanks for having me. Atlanta, want to give a shout out to Atlanta, one of my.
Nope, Night Jade, you tried it. When have we heard a black woman get called a coon? We get hit with it all the time. Of course, you get the looks and the treatment, but when have you heard a black woman get called a coon for interracial dating? No, that's different, Night Jade. When have you heard them get called a coon? We have black men in spaces, think about it, in the manosphere space specifically. Black YouTube, even my channel when I do panels. When a black man is calling out black women and disparaging black women in a certain way and trying to uplift another group of women, what do they get called instantly? A coon. They instantly get called a coon. But when a black woman does it, they're still accepted on the panel, and we're still trying to figure out the black men's problems and why that black woman has a problem with black men. We don't ever call that woman a coon and ostracize her from panels, but we do that to the black men that speak negatively about black women. That is a point that nobody can really escape from, because that is true. I would love for somebody to prove me wrong and give me some sort of excuse or some sort of justification for that. Shout out to Mo Deep with that $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Mo Deep says, hope you're not being too hard on the homeless guy. I know he's a bad person, but the victory lap last time was kind of mean. Listen, man, he's not actually homeless, my nigga. He's not actually homeless. The nigga has a crib. It's just very dusty and has roaches. I don't know if it has roaches. I'm just capping with that. But he's not currently. He was homeless for a period of time during Thanksgiving. Now, I don't know for sure if he actually has a crib, but I'm pretty sure that he has a crib and he's just doing this homeless shit for sympathy and super chats. He wants folks like you to feel sorry for him and be like, you know what, these guys are assholes. These guys are mean trolls. They go too far. They feel sorry for nobody, no sympathy. Last time I checked, this nigga can get a job. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's get into the chat. I'm talking to y'all real quick. I don't really care about this Umar Johnson reaction. I pretty much covered the content I wanted to cover. I don't know what they say in this, but I'm going to right. This is what I'm talking about. Mike Brown. This is facts, man. Taylor Made says I'm being hyperbolic. No, I was being literal, in the most literal sense. That we don't see that from black. We don't call out black women. We don't call them coons at all. We don't do that. I would love one single example. We have a bunch of black women that interracial date, that have their white men, that talk down on black men all the time. We don't call them coons. We figure out the problems and why they have problems with black men and what these black men are doing to fail them, or X, Y, and Z. And we have the conversation. But when a black man has a problem with black women, we call them coons. Angry Man got barked off a panel. We've been calling Anton a coon for months. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm telling y'all, nobody could disprove this point, because somebody said this to me in the comment section a while ago, and I was like, let me observe this for a while. Let me ponder on this thought for a while. So I observed panels for months, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually facts. Like, I already thought about that in the first place, but I was like, yeah, this is true. But then I'm like, you know what, let me observe it furthermore, and let's see this. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. Black men are unfairly maligned for their issues when they voice them, opposed to black women who are just patted on the back, and we just kind of talk them through it, and we invite them to panels and everything. Man, I don't know what the hell Angry Man is. I don't pay enough attention to Angry Man, to be honest. I don't watch his content, so I don't know. Shout out to Lee with the... Oh, I was about to say 5. My bad. Shout out to Lee with the $2 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Black women are called to as zaddy lovers. They're called zaddy lovers. Yeah, they say you love zaddy, white zaddy. We hear that. We definitely hear that. But that's not the same. That's not the same at all. That's like calling a man a bunny hopper. That's not insulting the same way calling them a coon is, or calling them a sellout. Calling a black woman a zaddy lover is not calling her a sellout or a coon. It's not equivalent in the slightest. But shout out to Lee with the $2.
I'm getting rich.
Yo, we're gonna address this double standard. We're gonna stand on this point right here. We standing on business when it comes to this point. We're gonna make them explain this. Y'all act like y'all are gonna gaslight us to shit and act like you don't see the double standard, but you damn well see the double standard here. We do see it. All right, so All right, chat. Once I'm still gonna have to disqualify this. You've been called a sellout. This is anecdotal. This is not within the confines of the conversations on the internet. In this internet talk space, we don't see it. We don't call them coons. You may have been called personally a sellout, but that's not applicable. We can't use that. That's inadmissible at this point. But let's get into this.
biggest support cities.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I come to Atlanta, the people always show up and show out. This is also the state of my maternal ancestors. We come from deep in South Georgia, so this is kind of back home, home away from home. And Atlanta is one of the first cities I spoke at when I did blow up back in 2010.
Yeah.
So this is a very special place for me, and this is the first live YouTube interview I've done.
This is huge.
History in the making right here. And I was telling him earlier, man, my mom was sending me, I think my mom actually introduced me to Dr. Umar back in like 2012. And I must say, actually, it's her birthday as well. Big shout out, happy birthday to you, moms.
Happy birthday to the Queen Mother. And I'm going to give my mama an early birthday greeting as well on the 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah,
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthdays going on in here. And we got something special going on. I can't wait to get in this conversation, family, because y'all seen it. The state of black relationships. We're going to go there. We're going to take it there.
Shout out to CJOJ with the $5 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
CJOJ says black women are called bed wenches and accused of sleeping with massa. Also, it's more accepted for black women because black men started dating out and bad mouthing be first. Shout out to CJOJ with the $5. Now, I'm going to have to do this to you. Didn't want to have to do it, but I'm going to have to do it. Once again, folks, we have a false equivalent. All right? This is what we have. We have a false equivalent. All right? First of all, black men started dating out and bad mouthing first. This right here, we can't argue this. We can't justify this. You can't substantiate this point right here. This is just an arbitrary statement that you can't do nothing with this. I can't debate this. I can't prove you wrong. You can't prove this statement to be right. This is mere conjecture, first of all. Black women are called bed wenches. Let's be real. Bed wenches, I don't really see that in any of these internet talk space where they're dating white men. I don't see them get called bed wenches. Okay, let's give you that. Let's say they're called bed wenches and accused of sleeping with massa. What does that do to them? Is that the same as being called a coon, a sellout, and being ostracized from talk spaces because black people don't want to communicate with you now because you're a sellout and you're a coon and you're bad for the community? Because they're still able to participate in conversations and still able to get the rhetoric off. So I don't know. That sounds like salon talk. I never heard that shit, but, I'm not going to completely gaslight, but it's not an equivalent. It's not the same.
And so y'all get ready because this is going to be a very powerful session that we're going to have here today on Hardly Initiated. But what I want to do first is, let's tell the people the special things we got coming.
Now, see, this is the thing. I don't want to go into too many announcements.
Listen, it's not the same. It's the same as getting called a bunny hopper. It's the same as being called a bunny hopper. That's what a bed wench and sleeping with masters is synonymous with. It's not to the level of coon.
Because we already made the biggest announcement, which is we got Dr. Umar Johnson in the building. So I will say this today.
And why are we giving other terms? Why are we giving synonyms? Why can't y'all dispute the fact that they ain't called coons? Black women aren't called coons for any of these type of behaviors, but black men are. Why are we going with these terms that can be looked at as negative, but they're not the same at all? Why are we doing that? Why can't we just admit that black women aren't held to the same standard and called coons when they interracial date and disparage black men? They're not ostracized, they're not maligned, they're not any of that. But black men's careers be straight up ruined, and it's different.
Today is the last day for the pre-release special of the Hardly Initiated dating cards, guys. So Love 20. Make sure you get that discount, and the cars is moving fast.
They are.
People are really wanting to find connection. They want to know the right questions to ask, and the cars just do the trick.
That's the trick, y'all. So the link is in the description as well as in the chat. You put Love 20 in there, you get 20% off. For my
Lee says she respectfully calls cap, but respectfully, Lee,
All due respect, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear that.
Respectfully, if you're gonna call cap, you gotta make a point. You can't just say cap. You gotta make a point. You gotta argue it. You gotta prove me wrong. I made my point. All the men are agreeing. The women have said nothing to disprove the point. Now, this is not no gender war shit, but we ain't gonna cap like this. You respectfully call cap, but you said nothing.
First, people, it's going to take about 2 weeks to get in there for your pre-order, so just be patient with us. But that's why we're going to hook you up with that 20% off and go ahead and cop those ASAP. And big shout out to everybody that's in here ready to get this conversation popped off, because I have a conversation that I've...
All right, so TaylorMade says that's an opinion, not a fact. All right, so who in their life has ever debated a fact? You know what you would be if you debated a fact? An idiot, because you can't accept truth. So there would be no conversation if I stated a fact. Like, let's be real. But what I'm saying is an observation that reigns to be reality. Or the truth, I should say, because that sentence doesn't make sense. But, yeah. My observation seems apropos at the moment. We don't see it.
I feel like, Dr. Umar, you are absolutely most qualified to help us out on here. Because, man, when I turn on...
Lee, you won't get your wrench taken for making a point. You're not saying anything disrespectful. You're not being disparaging. You're arguing the point the way everybody else with wrenches are arguing the point. You won't get your wrench taken. The guy did not build the school, Modib. Oh, actually, no, I can't say that. I can't say he did not build the school, because we've seen the school in Wilmington, Delaware. He has the address. He has the P.O. box. He has all that shit. He has the gym painted up and everything. But I don't see any kids enrolling anytime soon. I don't see any completions to the classes. I don't see any of that.
You know, my computer, and I look on social media or just see the conversations that's being had. It seems like it's truly a great divide between black men and women today.
True.
Especially in the space of love and relationships.
Correct.
It just seems like we don't have a ton of trust among one another. You know, everybody is very cynical about long-term relationships. And this is, I would call it a major crisis right now in our community.
I would agree with that.
We already know we have an economic crisis in the community. But now we see that this family and this relational crisis that we have that's rising. Which one would you say is greater right now as far as an issue or potential issue for the future of our relationships and our family?
I would say that they're related. If we look at this in its proper context, we go back and we see that the rise of the single black mother-led household doesn't begin until the 70s. Up until then, most of our homes had a mother and a father. So slavery didn't destroy the black family. We stayed married through slavery. I know my ancestors in particular, they kept the family together through slavery. So it wasn't slavery that did it. It was the economic disintegration of the black community. So after they assassinated Dr. King, the U.S. government decided upon a policy to destroy the black man's ability to fund any future civil rights efforts. So they came into the inner cities and they took out all the factory jobs, stripped the black man of his ability to earn. Remember, up until the 70s, they were not pushing go to college in order to be a success. You could live a decent life working in any of the major inner cities as a laborer. So they took that out. Then they went into the high schools and stripped the high schools of the industrial building training programs. So carpentry, auto mechanic, welding, roofing, electric, plumbing, they took all that out. Those was the skills that paid the bills. In essence, what they did was they made the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. I want to say that one more time. The 70s was the beginning of the process of making the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. A man's primary responsibility is to protect and to provide. We can protect, but the providing is the issue. Now, you fast forward that 65 years until now, since Dr. King's assassination, a lot of our women don't understand the political history that brought about the economic devastation of the black male. If my woman makes more money than me, that in and of itself is not a problem. Unless she attributes the reason she makes more money than me to the fact that I'm lazy, I'm shiftless, I'm irresponsible, I'm unaccountable. It's the interpretation of the reality that's our problem. Because if my woman makes more money than me, then so be it. That shouldn't necessarily be an issue unless she feels some types of way about that, or if I feel some type of way about that, because it does go both ways. You have sisters who feel like they can emotionally abuse and emasculate brothers if they have more education and income. On the flip side, you got brothers who cannot accept a relationship where the woman out earns and out educates him. So it can go both ways. But that economic piece is major because we're the only men in America who are out earned by our women.
All right, this is where he fucks up. This is where he starts selling cap. I've done an extensive live stream about this when I ran the numbers. The same stream that I broke down the fact that there's this bullshit ass slogan that's been going on for years when it comes to black boys are reading at the 4th grade level. I completely destroyed that entire talking point, and I did an entire breakdown on how the wages are and how they vary between black men and black women in America specifically. That's cap. Black men earn more than black women in America. That is absolute cap. Why in the fuck would he get on this platform and say that? Do I have to go back to that live stream and bring up the numbers? I did a breakdown because I was looking for a solution. I wasn't just saying, this is the problem. They held us back here. They held us back there. Historically, they did this. They kept us out of the job. I wasn't just saying, okay, these are the problems. I was bringing solutions and trying to find the solution because we hear about the problems all the fucking time. We hear about the ailments and the things that held us back all the time. So I broke that down, and I'm like, that shit is absolutely capped. There's nothing that substantiates the point that black men or black boys are reading at the 4th grade level. That's absolute bullshit. It doesn't even make sense. Which black boys? They just say that so we can inherit this feeling of idiocy and illiteracy. It's stupid. What I did uncover is that black children, black boys and girls were behind pace in all the categories, all the primary categories of learning. That's what I found out. But it was complete bullshit. But the numbers are bullshit. Black men make more than black women. What I found out is the gap in earnings is the smallest amongst other races. Black men make more than black women, but by the smallest margin. White men and Asian men have a way vaster margin in earnings. That's what I uncovered. So the margins are just, it's too tight. But black women aren't earning more than black men. That's cap.
We're the only ones. And it's by design. Now, when you come to YouTube and you see the back and forth banter between the men and the women, a lot of that is due to poor political education and understanding of the reality.
Poor education and understanding of the reality as well when it comes down to education as well, when it comes to them always saying black women are the most educated. Black women, the gap between how black women are educated in comparison to black men is why they say black women are the most educated. That's where the whole thing, people are so stupid and selective with these phrases and the way how they get propagated to the masses and people just buy them for face value. They think, black women are enrolled the most and they're graduating more than any other race. I'm like, that's not true. It's the black men have checked out of post-secondary. So black women are most educated in comparison to their counterpart. It's like they just stop the fucking sentence halfway through and say they're the most educated. No, in comparison, in relation to their counterpart. Where white men and white women are closer, white men are just above, and same in every other race. But black women are up here at the 60-something percent, and black men are all the way down in the 30%. So it's like they're not enrolling, they're not enlisted, they're not taking post-secondary serious. That's where that whole thing comes from.
But another part of it is trauma. See, we got to understand when we get emotional, we're dealing with our unconscious pains and memories. Nobody's in the present moment when you get emotional. The minute you are overrun by your emotions, that's your trauma talking. And one of the reasons black male-female relationships are so dysfunctional is you got traumatic man trying to relate to traumatic woman. Neither one of them is dealing with the person across the table because they're both reacting from past hurt. Which is why I believe that when you get out of one relationship before you go into another one, you need a period of healing, because if in fact you were in love, it's going to take you a while to heal your soul back, because love is the process of two becoming one. So if that was really love before you move on, you got to take a break and heal.
That is my issue with most of the talking points that I hear in this space is damage. Healing and damage. What he's saying is right. You have to take the time to heal when you get out of a relationship. You shouldn't just be monkey branching into relationships. That's how toxicity goes from one relationship to the other. But a lot of folks are dealing with childhood trauma that they don't heal from. And they're grown-ass adults talking about their trauma and their X, Y, and Z. And it's like, my nigga, your trauma is not your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. I've said that many times. I'm tired of these grown-ass adults talking about, oh, historic trauma and trauma from this and trauma from my childhood. It's like, my nigga, do the healing.
Problem, gentlemen, is we don't like to take the break and heal. And the reason why black men and black women don't like to take the break to heal is when you are in solitude. And this is why spirituality functions on a foundation of solitude. When you are alone, your soul forces to the surface issues in your life that you need to address that you don't feel like addressing. So the reason I'm rushing out to get another woman isn't because I'm ready to build another relationship. It's because when I'm home alone, I deal with my abandonment of my mother. I deal with my sexual abuse of my uncle. I deal with the emotional emasculation I suffered from my mother. I'm dealing with the bullying from my siblings. You see that?
Yeah.
So how do you escape your internal demons? You run with the emotional emasculation I suffered from my mother.
This point right here.
Home alone. I deal with my abandonment of my mother. I deal with my sexual abuse of my uncle. I deal with the emotional emasculation I suffered from my mother.
Now, this right here, the emotional emasculation that black men in America suffer from their mother. Now, I've said it, and I've defended black women, and I've been barked down to death by black men, saying, no, you're wrong, it's the majority, they're overweight, they're aggressive, they're loud, they're X, Y, and Z. And really and truly, it's like they have a lot of mother issues, and a lot of these mothers, and I see where it comes from. I'm not gonna gaslight these folks that constantly tell me this and send me emails and DMs and Discord messages talking about, oh, you're wrong about this. These women are X, Y. It's a lot of the trauma from their mother. My mother is the exact opposite. Shout out to my mom. Not a masculine trait bone in her body at all. So it's like I didn't deal with that growing up. I don't have that trauma. I don't relate to you folks at all when it comes to that. So I don't know, man.
I'm dealing with the bullying from my siblings. You see that?
Yeah.
So how do you escape your internal demons? You run out and you date. And so in the black community, dating and mating has become the newest drug. It's how we escape from taking responsibility for our emotional health.
Wow. Damn. Dating is the new drug.
I mean, that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
It
Dating
does.
absolutely has become a drug, and we talked about that a bit, with us not wanting to deal with our baggage. So you covered a spectrum of issues that we having right now that got us here. You talked about how pretty much the government has played a hand in our circumstance. Our trauma has played a hand in our circumstance.
Absolutely.
And those two together, has created pretty much what we see today.
Correct.
When we're looking at the banter coming, that's happening between men and women.
Yes.
Today, this is the outcome of that. My issue is, do you see us preparing for the resolve? Do we have things in place right now for us to have realistic solution?
I don't think so. And the reason why I don't believe we are there yet, if I look at it from a therapeutic standpoint, in order for me to get to a place of resolve, to a place of solution, I have to be willing to empathically hear the other side out. We don't hear the other side. We talk to each other, but we do not listen. It's yelling. The women are yelling at the brothers. The brothers are yelling at the women. I have yet to hear a serious conversation on YouTube that involved reflective listening. So, sister, based on what you're telling me, you hurt because you have had man after man come into your life, use you for your physical assets, and failed to invest in you as a woman. Am I hearing you? Yes, you're hearing me. How can we do better as men to not disappoint our women? Because see, here's the situation. As we know, the woman is the first teacher of the child. So that scorn, unconsciously, she's not doing it on purpose, but the scorn is being passed down to the daughter. You see that? So the daughter is being raised with this animosity towards black men before she's even old enough to date or understand what it is.
And that's the problem, though. Where is the absent black man in that household that is victim to the mother indoctrinating that daughter with negative rhetoric towards the man? That's my issue when we talk about these. Sounds like a simple solution. The man should be in the house with her.
Is. So if we as men want to improve the relationship opportunities for our grandchildren's grandchildren, we have to be much more careful with the hearts of our women, because whatever pain we put in her, she's going to transmit psychosocially to her daughter without even being conscious of it. So we're not just dealing with the failure of black on black love right now. We're dealing with the failure of black on black love for the rest of this century.
So you talked about earlier the rise of single motherhood in our community. It, if anything, turned our community into a matriarch at that point in time.
True.
Are we still there in 2024?
The matriarchy isn't in and of itself a problem, because not all African society.
Wait, what? Oh, here goes the pandering. Why is he pandering now? This is pathetic.
What?
What the fuck is this?
At that point in time.
True.
Are we still there in 2024?
The matriarchy isn't in and of itself a problem.
Now let me explain why Umar Johnson is taking this approach to it. Because he just lamented the fact that the problem starts where the single mother is taking care of the child, and she has a level of resentment for the father who is not there. So she spews that rhetoric into the child, and the child ends up absorbing that and becoming hateful of the father and men. You just said that, and then now you're saying that, oh no, women should, there's nothing wrong with having the single mothers in the house raising the kids. Is it because you are a product of that? Is it because you made a single mother and you don't have the black family? I don't understand that. Are you just pandering to black? Yeah, the black woman is God shit. Is that what this is? They should be the leaders of the community because you're dusting it up and not looking for a real solution?
Because not all African societies are patriarchal. You have matriarchal African societies.
Who?
The issue.
I'm sorry, I need an example, sir. Where? Name a country, name a tribe, name it. Where? What are we talking about?
Societies are patriarchal. You have matriarchal African societies. The issue is when the woman feels that because she's had to bear the brunt of responsibility for raising the children and paying the bills, that the man should have no voice. So matriarchy by itself is not a problem. Patriarchy alone is not a problem. It's only when we take this matriarchy, patriarchy, and marry it to a European narrative that says, because I'm the breadwinner in this home, I don't have to listen to the other person. We devalue the role of the man and we devalue the role of the woman based on European values. Because guess what? How much you earn has nothing to do with what you can contribute to the system and to these children. So all of us have been influenced negatively by the white man's power structure to the point where even in
That's all, folks.
All right, so where's the sign up to be white? Because that is the only solution for Umar Johnson. It's all white people's fault for everything. It's all their ideas. It's all their structures. It's all their thoughts and ideologies that run everything. And there's nothing we can do. It's just pointing the fingers at them. It's just the white European this. What are we doing out here, bruh?
our house, he's still operating at a distance through the way that we think. Take economics. Money and sex, those two variables play too big of a role in our relationships. Sex is important, money is important, but they should not be the be all and end all of whether or not the relationship is going to make sense. And if money and sex are dominating the relationship is being ran on a superficial structure because money runs out. How you perform in bed, that will dim over time too. So we cannot be coming together for money and sex, because if that's the case, this really isn't a relationship, it's a pleasure contract. And a lot of us in the community have pleasure contracts we call relationships. And the difference between a pleasure contract and a relationship is a relationship requires obligation and accountability. See, when you have a pleasure contract, I sex my queen when I sex her. We go to the movies when we want to go to the movies. We go to the Bahamas when we want to go to the Bahamas. We go to the festival when we want to go to. It's all pleasure based. I see you when you want to see me. You see me when you want to see me. Relationship, I'm accountable to you whether we having fun or not. Relationship, your long-term best interest as a human being is part of my responsibility. A lot of people are calling pleasure contracts and situationships, which is when neither one of you really know what the hell this is. We're calling them relationships and they're not. So number one, we got to be.
Do you know what the biggest problem is? It's right here. Sam says it. Go to Africa and see our culture, not this Western world bullshit. The problem is that we allow, shout out to everybody American, because most of my following and most of my viewers come from America. But we allow the problem, because America is the most visible, has the most voices, the most views for their artists and their speakers, everybody. But the standpoints and the perspectives and the disposition of Americans are heavily propagated for relationships, and you guys have all the problems. I'm saying you guys, the Canadians, don't have the same problem. I'm not part of the Western world too. We have the same. I'm part of it too. We have all the problems. So what we're always hearing is the perspective of the problems and never the perspective of the solution. And when the solution is offered, it's always offered in a way where it is instantly refuted and denied and completely just deflected away because people don't want to hear it. They want to speak about the problems and continuously go down this rabbit hole of speaking about the problems and listing all the problems. It doesn't do anything for anybody. And the problem is Americans definitely see everything in an American-centric way. That's what it comes down to. Y'all are the only people on the imperial system. Well, Liberia and Myanmar. 3 countries, and that's it. Like, come on, man. Everybody else sees things a little different. But let's get back into it.
Honest about what the particular structure is. Is this situationship? We just trying to figure it out. Is this a pleasure contract? We just having fun in and out of the bed when we feel like it? Or is this a relationship where you're going to be accountable to me even when you are angry and upset and don't want to be bothered? What exactly is this? Because there's a big difference. And unfortunately, because we don't communicate with the women in our lives as men, once they open their legs, they tend to assume that there's some sort of a relationship here. No matter how minuscule, we never clarify that. And the reason we never clarified that is in our selfishness as men, we like to have our cake and eat it too. So we know she's developing a bond, you understand? But we're never going to clarify the bond because I want to be able to dip out the back door the minute she puts too much responsibility on me. Where had if you told her up front, this is just a pleasure contract, an arrangement, she could have probably done a better job of keeping her feelings to herself. But because we don't want to see her with nobody else, we would rather run the risk of hurting her spiritually and emotionally than let her go free to find what she really needs. Selfishness plays a big role in this.
Now, let me ask you this, because you mentioned about money and sex. What should be at the root of a healthy relationship?
For me, the foundation of a healthy relationship, first of all, let's deal with the 4 essentials. In order for the relationship to work at all, you got to have humility. A lot of times we don't have humility. If the relationship is based on ego, it's not a relationship. You see that? Ego means you hear me, but I don't have to hear you. That's not a relationship. That's a master-slave relationship. When you have one person who has all the power and the other person who does not. And to that point, that is a very toxic situation we see in our community too, where the woman is the slave master and the man is the slave, or the man is the slave master and the woman is the slave. And you've seen these relationships where one person makes all the decisions and have all the power and the other person needs to remain silent unless spoken to. You see, which goes down another road of where you should not be dating if you have low self-esteem, because people with low self-esteem will always be taken advantage of in the dating arena. And too many men and women are out there looking for their ideal mate, but you don't have the ideal self-esteem in order to engage the type of mate that you want. So if I speak to a young sister, what type of man you want? I speak to a young brother, what type of queen you want? They describe them. Is your self-esteem at a level that this type of person would want you?
Ooh.
Because you can't hide how you feel about yourself. Once you've been around a queen for a couple weeks, she know how you feel about yourself, just like you know how she feel about herself when you've been around her for a couple weeks. So the role of self-esteem is critical because, as you know, a player, a brother who knows how to game women, he can read their level of self-esteem
quickly.
He knows exactly what her thirsty meter is hitting at. You see? And a woman knows exactly what his thirsty meter is hitting at.
Absolutely.
But getting back to those 4 essentials, you need humility. I got to be humble enough to be quiet when she's wrong to hear her out. I got to be humble enough to remain quiet while she's expressing her points about me. Everything she just said may be wrong. She may have accused me of cheating. She may have accused me of all kinds of things. But guess what? This is her truth in this moment. Let me shut the fuck up. Let her say what she needs to say. When she's done, reflective listening. Baby, you believe the reason I came home at 1 o'clock last night because I was over my baby mom's. Is that how you feel? Do you believe that? Okay, let me try to prove it. You see? Let me try to prove to you that I was not there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The problem with us, because most of us was raised by women, we get a little bitchy. You see that? So when our queen get bitchy, we want to get bitchy right back. That's not the behavior of a man. That's not masculine. Masculinity says she's in her pain. And because she's in her pain, I'm going to validate her even if she's incorrect, because I don't ever want her to feel that I don't understand where she's coming from. We get right into defense mode, raised by single black mothers. We want to give her back the same energy she's giving us. That's a gridlock. We don't move nowhere. You got to have humility. The next thing you got to have is you got to have communication. One of the biggest mistakes we have in our relationships in the black community, we want our partners to read our minds. If you're in a relationship with a woman who needs you...
Man, I don't know what y'all are getting from this speech. I don't know what y'all are getting from this speech, but man...
I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
To read her mind, that is an emotionally immature woman, and you need to end it. A woman should be able to tell a man what she wants and how she feels. And a man should be able to tell a woman what he wants and how he feels, because it goes both ways. Whenever you're in a relationship and somebody expects you to read their mind, as I've often said to sisters, I'm a psychologist, not a psychic. You understand? I observe.
You guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. He's saying a whole bunch of nothing. He's saying basic rubbish. Destron said it best. This is literally basic communication. This is basic communication and decorum. You wait for somebody to stop speaking before you speak and you hear them out. Jesus fucking Christ, man. If y'all, but what the fuck are we doing out here?
Evaluate. I can't read. You see? So tell me how you feel. The reason why a lot of sisters would rather us feel them out than communicate to us how they feel is they're afraid of rejection. They don't want to verbalize it because they're afraid.
You guys, some of y'all are saying he's spitting, he's doing X, Y, and Z. But you guys don't get is he's saying nothing new, nothing that forwards the conversation, nothing that offers solutions. This is literally a whole bunch of nothing.
They get rejected.
And he's not even speaking from a position that he follows what he's preaching. He's not practicing what he's preaching. Have the patience, have this, build a family. You got baby mothers, my nigga. You ain't got no family. You ain't active in the house. You talked about the problems that propagate the community, and then we look at your life and it's the resemblance of what you described. Single mothers. Controlling the narrative. First to teach the children. Putting a message negative towards their father while the father's not there. Meanwhile, you're not there. Sounds like you set up a pleasure contract with somebody and you didn't let her know. It's ridiculous, man.
They would rather you read the mind.
Tailor-made, he didn't offer a solution. What solution is basic communication going to do to the relationships and all the trauma that folks are dealing with?
So they don't have to.
Tell academics to bring that. Tell academics to bring that to his woman. Wait until she stops speaking, then speak after. Everything's going to be good, sir. Just hear her out. You speak right after. Don't come down if she gets all irate and stupid and she starts acting like a goddamn bitch for no reason and it's all emotions and there's no rationale. Verify it. Don't challenge it. Just congratulate it. Reward it, essentially, by enabling it. Man, yeah, and just wait and then speak your mind after and see how that goes. Like, these are not solutions. Like, what is that?
Garner the audacity to tell you exactly how they're feeling. In other words, you need to make a decision whether or not you're going to marry me. We've been in this relationship for 3 years. You see that?
Yeah.
She wants to say it. She ain't got the courage because she's afraid of what your response is. So she's been pouting around the house, acting up like, what's wrong with her? She want to know where this relationship is going, but she's not going.
That's Ron. He also said, don't be with a woman like that. How many times have I said, don't be with these dusty ass bitches? He's saying nothing new. How are you missing the point? The fuck is wrong with people, man?
Say it because you ain't giving her the confidence to say that. You see? So we have to make sure that when we are dating people, we're dating people who mirror our psychological age. Because all of us have a biological age. We also have a psychological age. So let's say you're 45 years old, biologically. Your queen is 45 years old, biologically. But she's been traumatized, raped, abused, abandoned by her father, emotionally scarred by her mother. Although she's 45 biologically, psychologically, she could be 12.
This is why you guys have problems. This is exactly why you guys have problems. And I lamented it earlier. You guys would rather sit and talk about the issues with oh, this girl has been traumatized. Fuck that bitch, nigga. What the hell is wrong with y'all? That's not a dating option, you stupid sons of bitches. Now y'all are getting me angry. You guys don't fucking compute basic shit. Fuck cares about this bitch he's describing, man. Y'all are really starting to annoy the fuck out of me, man.
Raped, abused, abandoned by her father, emotionally scarred by her mother. Although she's 45 biologically, psychologically, she could be 12.
Who cares?
Psychologically, you could be 6. And a big reason why a lot of our relationships don't work out is you got two people who are around the same biological age, but psychologically they're two different.
Do you guys now get it? Are you guys following along? Are you guys following along well enough? When I say you're just gonna talk about the bottom of the bottom, the people that have the problems. Oh, this person's psychologically 12. This person's psychologically 15. What is that doing for relationships? You're talking about fixing black relationships in the black family. Weren't you the person that said you can't? He says that he couldn't psychologize everybody. And he said this. This is what he said.
Some of them going to sleep. For God!
He said he can't psychologize some of these black men. They're going to sleep for good. So why is he spending an entire segment talking about people that are 45, have damage from all their family members, and they're psychologically sick? Fuck that motherfucker. We ain't doing nothing with that person. What the hell are we talking about? Send their ass to therapy. Now, these circular conversations are a waste of time, and y'all don't see it because y'all indulge in it 24/7 and waste your life complaining about these are the problems that hit our community. It's like, bro, what are we doing out here? The bare minimum. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson with the 25,000 Ugandan.
I'm getting rich.
O'Shea Duke Jackson says, LOL, ZestyTv. Yeah, that's what we named him. That's what we named him. ZestyTv. Mike TV, ZestyTV. That's what we named that nigga. O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm trying to explain to these motherfuckers in my chat that these grifters love these circular talking points that do nothing for the community. Just articulating the ailments and how dusty it is at the bottom and the therapy that these folks need. And we're going to sit down and talk about how folks with basic communication skills have better relationships. And oh, we're spitting, he's saying something. It's like, bro, what are we doing out here?
Different levels. You see this, you're like, damn, why she acting like a child? Why he acting like a child? Because guess what? They are not psychologically where you are. And here's a big problem we have. We think we've met our match when we get into a relationship where we never argue and there's no type of conflict or disagreement. That's a trap. You know why that's a trap? Everybody has a pain body. You got one, I got one, they got one. What is a pain body? That is an energy that you carry within your soul. It's a deep part of your unconscious that contains the memory of every negative experience you ever had in your life. from the time you got bullied, from your father spanking you in front of you.
Thank you, Chronic Introvert. Thank you. He said this in the last thing. He said this in another speech. And I fell into it because I was looking out for the community. I'm like, yo, we're building from the behind. We have to work together and we got to do X, Y, and Z. But this is exactly what he wants us to do. He wants us to heal each other. Nah, nigga. We ain't responsible for the trauma of other folks, and neither are you. You're not responsible for your own trauma and hurt. But your healing is your obligation to be a healed person and march back out in that world and be accepted in the dating sphere. It's not up to anybody else. And people that are always constantly trying to fix folks, cut the cord, let go, academics. Simps like that don't know that they're with a problematic, toxic motherfucker that does nothing for them. Let go. And shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Y'all seen O'Shea Duke Jackson in the chat. I'm tired of y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. We did this last time when O'Shea was in the chat and dropping the super chats. I'm tired of y'all bringing a level of animus and, O'Shea did this, O'Shea did that. Deal with that y'all yourselves, man. Y'all are always trying to use me as a conduit, as a message to O'Shea. And wait, man, deal with that yourself. I give my opinion. I do what the fuck I want to do, and I say what the hell I want to say. Y'all do with that yourself. O'Shea be in the chat, and folks be running from O'Shea, but feeding me X, Y, and Z about O'Shea in the Discord. It's like nobody cares, man. Y'all really got to stop that shit. Speaking of the Discord, I have to check the Discord because I'm going back to that thought because the women in my chat were too disingenuous. Oh, shit, we got a caller. Shout out to Jay.
Yo.
What up, Jay? What's up, man? What you got on the matter? Because I was gonna get back into the talk about women not conceding the point of men being called coons for interracial dating, but they're not called the same thing. They're deflecting on that. I was gonna get back into that, but before we get back into that, what do you have on the matter, Jay?
I mean, like, when it comes to the main topic, where you were talking about O'Shea Duke Jackson, Mike TV, and of course Umar, O'Shea he really tried to freaking make that video more about Mike TV. I know he kind of like tried to diss Mike TV because Mike TV made videos about him, so it's kind of like it was a diss video. That's the way I saw it myself. But I mean, when you look at Umar Johnson, I'm talking to some of the people in the chat, and I'm like, why are you guys defending this guy? I mean, this guy collected money for a documentary. He never did the documentary. He collected money for the school, never did the school. He went up there to New York. He disrespected Q Butter School, who actually has kids in his school, starting all that mess. They ended up calling the police. I mean, this is a guy who sits around all day calling people YouTubians. He tells people that if the only thing that you're giving out to the community is information, that you're non-valuable. But at the same time, when you look at his track record, what has he done? He said he's been educating kids for like 15, 20 years. So we should be able to find, like, say if the kid was 10, we should be able to find 25-year-olds, or say if they were 15, pretty much, what do you say, 20 years? So 35-year-old, we should be able to find these people who can vouch for him. But there's nobody that can vouch for him. This is why when he had that debate with Lord Jamar, he broke down. He broke down like a little sad kid because he has nobody in his corner. He's making stuff up. And this guy's a babbling idiot, dude. He steals his material. You guys have to understand this. He steals his material. He repackages him. He tries to make it this big Pan-Africanist stuff. But it doesn't like add up to who he says he is, because he's talking about relationships right now. He has no standing on talking about relationships. He's not in a relationship. He has 2 baby mamas. He lives in that, abandoned school?
Yep.
Is this the guy you guys really want to listen to? I mean, we can talk about everybody else, but when it comes to this Pan-African hustler who is, I mean, to me, he's uneducated. I'm sorry. I used to follow him. I used to do all that stuff. But Umar Johnson is one of the most uneducated people. I don't care if he says he has 6 degrees. I don't care if he claims he's building a school. That school's never going to open. I mean, it's behind on taxes. It's on the city's condemned list. You can't have people in the building because it was before it became a school. It was I forgot what they did. It became a landfill place, so the air quality is terrible over there.
It's on the city condemned list?
It's on the city's condemned list, man.
Wow. He's been talking about getting that HVAC fixed for like 5 years now, and it's like and he said he hired some white folks to do it, and they did it, and the school will be up, and that was like 3 years ago. It's like, bro, what happened? And then recently he spoke about the HVAC not being done. I'm like, these excuses they're not flying anymore. Yeah, so he's full of shit.
Excuse after excuse. But what really should have woke people up was when he collected money back in 2022 for that documentary. Then he said it's going to be out in 3 months. And here we are in 2024. The documentary still isn't out. So, I mean, he just collected money for all these projects. But besides that, I mean, I'm looking at this guy. He's talking about relationships and all that, but he's not in a relationship. He has 2 baby mamas. We can say that. He's been in many relationships, women that he went after. Remember that Zorro woman that did an interview with Tasha K, who he said, if you talk about me, I'm going to expose you. You shouldn't have been kissing on me if you were married and all that stuff. He's been the conscious stripper. There's so many women that he's afraid of that'll come up after him. So, I mean, when you come to Umar Johnson, I think a lot of these people follow him because, number one, he's like Derek Jassy. He panders to black women. And number two, he's not a Pan-Africanist, but he sells Pan-Africanism to his audience because he knows that's a window into their wallet. So
yep, he's a race hustler. He's a race hustler. He feeds off of black trauma and black hurt in the community, and he just makes money off of it. Yeah, no real solutions. He even articulated the problem, and then when somebody was speaking, they gave him a question that would kind of directly line up to how his family structure is when I was watching this, and he kind of deflected away from that because he basically articulated that the problem is single mother households and the father's absent. Basically, the mother indoctrinating the daughter against the father and making them hate men and hate the father. He basically said that, but then he avoided the fact that he fits that mold because he has multiple baby mothers and they're the primary teachers of those children. Yeah, caretakers of those children. So they're teaching them first, and they're basically, he's repeating the process and repeating the cycle. So he wants to get up on on mic and talk about the solutions or the ailments of the community, but you're part of the problem. It's like we got to stop listening to people that are part of the problem and don't offer solutions. They just feed into people's trauma. And a lot of people be in the chat and they'll be like, yeah, he's spitting because they can relate to the shit that he's speaking about. But is he even offering anything? No. It's like, come on, man.
No, and I actually want to, because I know in that video earlier you did with O'Shea Duke Jackson, Mike TV said he collected like 900,000 to me. No, it's well beyond that. He's at least at 3 million by now. This is another thing, a big component of this school thing. There's no financial documents. There's no financial sheets. There's no balance sheets. There's no cash flow statements. There's no itemized list. There's nothing like that. But we're still listening to somebody that produced no results, but has all the words in the world to say to us and try to tell us what we need to do. I can't do people like that, man. I mean, like, people can criticize Tariq Nasheed all you want to. What they can't take away from him is that he's a great film director. He produced a lot of films. That building that he got up, museum that he got up there, he opened stuff. You know what I'm saying?
He actually opened the museum. So as much as people want to hate on him, as much as he has negative rhetoric that annoys me because he has some divisive rhetoric as well, but he actually has some results. So we got to give him that. Like, the museum is up and running. You can go to the museum and visit it, unlike Umar Johnson's school. So
yeah, we're never gonna be able to go to that school, that abandoned building, man. So I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. But I think that video that you did, that O'Shea did, I think it was mostly just to disrespect Mike TV. I don't think he was really trying to cap in on Umar Johnson, because I know that.
Well, he called out both of them. He called out both of them for their grifting and scamming. But he was more lamenting the point that Mike TV is dusty, he's homeless, he's a scammer, X, Y, and Z.
And I thought Mike TV was just hustling on that homeless scam, man, because he put out he needed $3,000. So I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah. It's all about the money when it comes to these guys. So, I looked at Mike TV, man. I'm like, oh, he's scamming. Because when he originally came out, he was trying to trying to hold people accountable. I thought that was okay. That's good. But then he transformed into this slime ball. Then E Black comes out with all the history about that girl that passed away, and he was selling her stuff, and he was trying to rent out a room in her house after she passed away. And not only that, but the van and all that stuff. I mean, bro, yeah, Mike TV has a lot of L's that he took. Hopefully he can transform himself, man. But after what he did to Duke, E Black, what he's been doing in real life, the court cases, man, hopefully he has a window to redeem himself. You know what I'm saying? I'll give it to him. But when you look at somebody like Umar Johnson, who's damn near 50, bro, there's no redeeming that. I mean, he's going to be building a school for another 15 years.
Yep. Yeah, there's literally no redeeming this. I don't. From when people book him on their platform, like this conversation, I don't think they grilled him about the school. I didn't get that far in it, but it seems like because they ran Mike TV off instantly, it seems like they were trying to have a cordial conversation and milk as much views off of Umar Johnson's name, because that's what it is in the media. He's a view getter. You can speak about him, you get views. If you have an interview with him, you'll get a lot of views, and they're not going to press him, but they damn well know. That's what I'm saying. All these platforms are not really for black empowerment and the betterment of black families and black folks, because they would be pressing him on the serious issues instead of letting him get away with that, but they're too interested in the business of the media, and that's getting money, getting these views. So that's what we're seeing from this.
I think another component of that is you have to remember that they pay him to come on because he mentioned this a while ago, how much he charges to come onto your platform and all that stuff. He calls it a donation to the school or whatever you want to do. You can do a tax write-off, which you know how that is. But they paid him, so they don't want him to run off because you have a unruly guest like Mike TV. I noticed that with a lot of these people. He doesn't answer any questions that's he doesn't want to answer. I think honestly, he gives them a question that you can't ask him before he comes into your.
A lot of folks do that, and it's like if you want a certain level of transparency from the interview, you have to go in like ahead of time and be like, "Yo, we're gonna ask this, we're gonna ask that, and you got to be okay with it because we're paying you X amount of dollars for these answers because the people want to know. They're the most valuable answers, and people don't think about they want to book somebody like him for views." And they want to be able to book him furthermore, so they're going to be nice and cordial with him. But if they really want that viral moment that they're chasing for, just pay the man so you can get the real answers and be like, yo, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to press you on this. Let's have a real conversation and give me some real answers. All this coddling and protecting people, that's what ends up in having disingenuous media that does nothing to help nobody.
Right. No, 100%, man. That's all I got to say up there, man. Let me hop off and let you get back to it, man.
All right, shout out to you. Shout out to Jay for calling in. I wanted to ask him one more question about the women in the chat being disingenuous and not keeping it a stack, but I'm gonna leave that alone, y'all. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Your friends, your girlfriend cheating on you, everything you.
Okay, hold up. We got stats. So Lee provided some stats. Lee, what do these stats have to do with anything? I went into the Discord. What the fuck are these? Black men are twice as likely as black women to intermarry. What kind of stats are these? I can't. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, I don't.
You went through negative is in this pain body, right? You have one. Everybody got one. If you've never seen it activated in your queen to be, it ain't time to get married yet. Because you have to determine whether or not you can live with her pain body when it gets activated. See, this is where we date for 5 years and everything been.
All right, so my bad, y'all. I'm just very confused to what these stats are, Lee. So Lee sent me a stat from this YouTuber dude. Pew Research Center. Stats are kind of dated. They're from 2010. But this proves what exactly? I'm still kind of lost. I'm like, what am I looking at? Black men date outside of the race more than black women? We know that. I'm kind of lost, but let's get back into it.
Great. We moved in for 1 month. Now we getting a divorce. You know why? Because it's easy to date when y'all don't have to share the same space. It's easy to date when y'all don't have to share the same space. Now y'all sharing the same space. And all that she kept hidden in her, or all that you kept hidden in you, now it's going to come out. And do you want to know why? The ego doesn't like to lie. Your ego never want. When she says, are you cheating on me? You say no, if you are. Your ego want to say, fuck yeah, I'm cheating. And I'm going, you see, the ego doesn't like to lie. You see, right. So once you're forced.
Once again, I noticed through various parts of his speech speaking about the relationships, one of the parties always has some disingenuous fuckery or toxicity, and it's generally the dude. From the perspective that he's talking about, oh, you're cheating X, Y, and Z, and you know you are. He was talking about the men that are players, that they understand. I'm like, these are not related. You're talking from a perspective of people that aren't suitable for relationships. That's what I genuinely see a lot of the times. I'm seeing dysfunctional starting points. And then it resonates with a lot of people, and they're like, facts, and I'm looking at y'all left as fuck. That's why I got a little annoyed earlier in the stream. Not that much earlier, but I was like, yo, what the hell? I'm like, what are y'all resonating with? This is the problem, y'all.
Three things normally force the ego to tear the mask off. Because when we dating each other, we're basically dating the ideal self we're projecting before the other person. We're not dating who we really are. When you meet somebody, you never tell them, I'm an alcoholic. I have trouble showing up for work at time. I had 10 jobs in the past year. My father left me. I grew up in a brothel with my mother who was a prostitute. You're not telling her none of that. She has to figure out all your flaws on her own, just like you have to figure out all her flaws on your own. You see that? And so that's...
Yo, that is so profound, chat. That is so profound. You got to find her flaws out on your own. That is profound, chat. This is unbelievable. She's going to have to discover your thoughts or your flaws on her own. Oh, my God. Wow.
Why we don't trust each other when we begin dating, because we both know we got a pain body. We both know we got baggage, and neither person wants to be transparent about trust each other when we begin dating, because we both know we got a pain body. We both know we got baggage, and neither person wants to be transparent.
Do you guys get it now? Do you guys finally get it? The relationship starts at a point that it's going to fail and there's no hope because these folks are dysfunctional, pain body, damage, and you're entering a relationship?
About what their issues are from the beginning.
Damn.
See, we force the other person to learn them on their own. So nobody trusts nobody because I know you got shit in your closet. And you ain't giving me none of it. And because I got to study you, and I don't know how long I'm gonna have to study you, I'm gonna try to hold my feelings back as much as I can. And for that very same reason, we like to keep something on the side too. Because if this don't work out, I need something else to fall out on. Well, guess what? If you got something on the side, there's no way you can be fully committed to this. Now, let me tie trauma back into this. How can you fully love if you're too afraid to get hurt?
Right.
And if you can't fully love because you're too afraid to get hurt, you have no business dating in the first place. Because what you might mistake for love is nothing more than a psychologically unhealthy attachment or addiction for someone else's presence in your life to validate you. Right now, we got an epidemic of black men killing their women. That wasn't love. You couldn't kill somebody you loved. You know what? To validate you. Right now, we got an epidemic of black men killing their women.
All right, chat. We have a serious epidemic on our hands. We have a serious epidemic on our hands. Black men are killing their women.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
That wasn't love. You couldn't kill somebody you loved. You know what was going on? He was addicted to her presence in his life. His illness cannot exist without her presence in his life. And because he can no longer have her presence in his life, he's going to take her life. That's not love. That's psychopathology and addiction. And you have a lot of traumatized black people running around thinking they're in love with people. You're not in love. You are simply addicted to their presence in your life. They serve a purpose for you. That's it. It's not love. And if you don't really understand what love is, oftentimes clinginess, attachment, thirstiness, and addiction is called love, and it's not. Love don't hurt. If it hurts, it has to be trauma.
Take us into love, though, because I do agree with you. A lot of people are confused about what love is.
Right.
So how would you define love?
When you truly love somebody, truly, here's the thing about love. Love is unconditional. That's the first thing I want to say.
Is it really?
Love is unconditional. If it's conditions on it, it ain't love. It's a...
Nah, we ending this. We ending this, man.
For God
Man, what the hell is going on? Yo, somebody check on ZestyTv.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
That man's homeless. Why are we listening to this? Why are we listening to this? ZestyTV's out there homeless. Like, we have a serious situation on our hands and we're listening to this rubbish. This is foolishness, y'all. This is foolishness. This is... I guess I'm going to be called a hater for this. I'm going to be called a hater for this.
Contract. And that's okay if both of you agree on those terms. She may agree. We have a pleasure contract. We got an economic contract where you're going to take care of me. And as long as you take care of me, I'm going to be your woman. The Puff Daddy arrangement. You feel me? That works for some people. No.
Hey, yo, what the fuck? The man said the Diddy arrangement.
Get him out of here. He's got no place in here. Get rid of him. Okay.
CP said he was spitting bars except for the epidemic statement. Yo, bro, I don't know what to say to y'all. I don't know what to say. The disconnect with me and the audience today has been so vast. I don't know what to say to y'all. The man said we have an epidemic on our hands with black men killing their black women, and then he described some emotional, irate idiot that kills his woman because he can't let go. Where does that happen? What are we talking about out here? What is this? What alternate reality did I wake up in and y'all are a part of? Now we do the Diddy strategy and that's supposed to be good. What the fuck is going on out here?
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
You have women like that. You have men like that.
Right.
I'm going to floss you up. And as long as I floss you up, you're going to be loyal to me. But that's a contract. That's not love. Contracts are different from love. Why? Contracts are conditional. Right. Love is unconditional. I
just solved it. Now I understand what I'm listening to.
Emotional damage.
Now I understand what I'm listening to. Bruh, you need some help. You need some help, bruh.
Stop it. Get some help.
This guy needs some help for real, for real. I ain't gonna lie. This guy needs some help. He's describing unconditional love for romantic love. You're not getting that. You're not getting that. Nobody's getting that. Don't live in delusion, my nigga. What the fuck? And that's what you're gonna be selling to these women out here that you're pandering to? Unconditional love. Nobody gets unconditional love in a relationship. There's conditions. There's hard no's. There's a line you can't cross. Not everybody wants to sign up to live like Destiny, Adam 22, and Diddy. Like, the fuck are we talking about out here? This is... You now get it. You now get it. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Oh shit, we got a super chat. Shout out to Jay the Informant with the $2 super chat.
I'm getting rich.
Umar, give me your money, Johnson. Shake my head. This is what I'm saying, man. Hit that Cash App, Johnson. Umar, hit that Cash App, Johnson. That's what that is, man. It's like, what are we doing out here? Get your donations in. Like, what the fuck is this?
Love my queen. What if she comes home one day and say, hey, baby, I don't want to work this. I don't want to be a lawyer no more. But if I only married her because I like the way her law degree looks on Dr. Umar in public, you see how this goes? She's changing. But if I love her, okay, baby, that's what you don't want to do. You want to go into something else? Let's do it. Love is, when you love somebody, you are 100% unapologetically and unconditionally committed to that person's best interest, even if it is to your loss.
Now, I hope you guys understood what he just said. I hope y'all just understood what he said. Even if it's to your detriment, you have to love that person unconditionally, and it doesn't matter. My next question would have been to Dr. Umar Johnson. With that same ideology, how in the fuck do you got two baby mothers? You weren't committed to the first one. What the fuck happened? And you weren't committed to the second one, so you got two tries at your own ideology and you failed both times. That's what I'd ask him. I'm like, what in the hell is this unconditional love shit? That's not your child, sir. Unconditional love is child to parent, parent to child. That's not romantic. You don't get that. Motherfucker cheats, the other person's out the door. Other person's abusive. What do we? This is ridiculous. These are asininical talking points. It's like,
What if your fiance come home and say, listen, babe, I had a long conversation with my ex-husband. I never thought I would look at this again, but we left a lot on the table together. I enjoyed the time we had. I think that man might still...
Yo, I'm telling y'all have a lot of disputing for me today. There's a lot of rebuttals, but I didn't hear anybody call in and tell me what I'm wrong about, why I need to shut the fuck up and listen to Umar Johnson. I'm yet to wait. Did I say yet? What the hell did I just say?
Will be my soulmate. I got to move on. I might still hurt because I loved her, right? But if that love is true, if you feel that's who you meant to spend the rest of your life with, I gotta love you and want the best for you. Most of us cannot do that. What we call love is limited to your investment in me. You see that?
Yeah.
Anytime they step outside of the box we created for them, we get angry because that was not love. You had conditions on it. Your woman gained 20 pounds. Now you're going to divorce her. You say, if you gain another 20 pounds, this marriage is over. That was not love. That was a contract because it had conditions. If I love that woman unconditionally, whether she gained 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, I'm not going nowhere. Yeah, we might need to have a conversation about her health because I want you around for our children to get married. You understand? Right. But there's no such thing as ending a relationship.
Bro, there's no such thing as ending a relationship, regardless of the factors. Sit your stupid ass down and endure. Huh? How about that, huh? How about you sit your stupid ass down and endure, huh? You get in a relationship, that shit final, nigga. Stamp that shit. Unconditional love. Sit down and endure. Let's listen to this nigga.
Because you stepped outside of my perfect box if you loved her. Love is unconditional. And most of what we got in the black community are contracts disguised as loving relationships.
Because, you know, that's what I think of. When I think of even the role of a man being to provide, to protect, I'm thinking those are conditions.
You're a victim.
There we go, CSI.
No, I'm telling you right now, I became so stupid during this stream. I've lost any little bit of intellect I had left in my brain. This is absolute brain rot. I don't even know where to go from here. I don't know where to go from here. This is what happens when people are too comfortable in dysfunction. They don't see the world outside of their own dysfunction. So all these conversations are just propagated with more dysfunction and not the clear-cut answers. That's why you don't see happy folks that are doing well in relationships on these panels or on the platform, giving people are espousing rhetoric, because they just want to keep them happy selves to themselves. They don't want to help anybody because it's always shot down and rebutted whenever they try to give people a real answer. It's like they don't get it. They don't want to get it. It is what it is. This is really rotting my brain out here. I didn't listen to this shit. Usually when I do a reaction, I've listened to the entire thing prior. Let me put a stamp and show you where I listened to and what's brand new to me. Hold up, chat. Okay, so 5105. So this is all I seen up to the point where Zesty got ran off. That's all I seen. So this last half an hour, first time witnessing it, didn't know what type of talking points I'd be reacting to, and there's still like an hour left after this. We ain't reacting to this, none of this, man. Y'all can watch this on Hardly Initiated channel. That's where y'all can go check this out, because I'm not gonna get through this stuff. This is a waste of time. This does nothing for the community. All this community building conversations, what does this do?
I know those are a little different though, because those are expected gender roles that go back to the
you protect. Are those not conditions on the contract of love? Or?
You are correct. Those are a little different though, because those are expected gender roles that go back to the beginning of time. In other words, I know she's going to be birthing the babies. I know I'm expected to be the provider, even if she makes more than me. So gender roles are conditions, but because those are culturally determined, I would put them in a separate box, because we come in.
Now, I need to have patience. I've already lost all my patience. I need to have patience. But we have to break this down right here. This right here is very important, chat. Work with me. Bear with me.
even if she makes more than me. So gender roles are conditions, but because those are culturally determined, I would put them in a separate box because we come in understanding that this is part of what you're supposed to do as a man or as a woman versus don't gain no weight. Don't lose.
Now, do you guys understand why I've been so frustrated listening to this bullshit? Do you guys understand why he has nothing to offer when it comes to solutions in today's modern dating? He's talking about these things are just, it just goes into a separate box. These are known things. Bro, that is the separate box that you're putting to the side is where all the problems in modern dating resides. So the box that you're putting to the side that you're not going to address, that same box, it should be this way, that's where the problems are. That's why the relationships that should be great aren't great, because that's the problem. It's the gender roles. That's what it comes down to. The things that people expect out of a woman. That's why we have all these dumbass conversations on the in black YouTube space or in the black manosphere or wherever it is about masculinity and femininity. Why do you think these conversations are always so stressed? Because people are so far out of their gender roles because of agents for anarchy like ZestyTV and other folks that are part of that alphabet community. People are so far out of their gender roles because they're lost. People keep talking about masculinity because they don't know what a man is. They keep talking about femininity because women aren't acting with how we're accustomed to women to be acting. That's the problem. So when he tries, let's put that in a separate box, it's like, bro, are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? Talking about, she gained 40 pounds and you leave. Like, what the? Come on, man. Come on.
Lose that job. Your income better not drop. Don't have more than one child. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm dealing with those personal conditions that you want to impose on the other person versus the conditions that the culture imposes on us as men and women.
Understood. Now going back to, because you were saying we was
y'all still good on the sound.
We good.
Yeah. Okay. Mine went down a little bit. There we go. We straight.
Okay. Excellent. So
let me give them two other ones. I'm sorry.
No,
we need those.
Someone says they're part of the LGBTQ.
LGBTQ plus mean? Like, is it the premium version of gay?
Wait a minute.
Thank you. We have somebody that's a part of the alphabet community. Can y'all explain something to me, please? What is this 2SL and there's a plus in there? Why is there a 2? What is there? There's a number in there, bro. There's a number. What is the 2 plus? What is that? We can finally get some answers. We got one. Pause. You know what? I should just Google that with my stupid ass.
But hold on, wait. Because I want you to hold it because there's so much to unpack.
Okay.
Hold on to those two other ones. Okay. But I really want to touch on this because you talked about being able to, us dealing with our pain bodies.
Yes.
And us not knowing exactly how to connect with one another because we really don't know who we are in that pain body.
Yes.
How can one, and this for me, because I'm out here, I'm a brother who's seriously dating. I really want to look. I'm trying to get out these damn streets.
Yes, sir.
So
listen, no disrespect to the LGBTQ community because I have gay, lesbian, and bisexual fans that tell me about their sexual orientation in the comment section. So I hope that I don't offend y'all constantly with my drops and the shit that I say. So shout out to y'all.
Reality of it is, how is a man looking to authentically know a woman, her pain body, what she really comes with to unlock that version of her and her to unlock that in me as well? How does that happen?
First of all, it cannot happen until both of you feel the other person is a safe space for you. So it doesn't happen early on in a relationship. It happens at a point, normally after you guys have been intimate, although I don't think that's a good idea. I think it needs to come before the intimacy because intimacy tends to unlock a lot of that pain. See, so when you guys get to a point where you're pretty sure that you're interested in taking this a little further, let's start talking about some of the things we've been through so we can understand each other a little more.
Okay.
You see that? The problem is people are very slow to disclose
shit.
Because number one, they buried them somewhere deep within themselves and don't want to touch them again. And they fail to realize that they still exude energy and influence all throughout your life. So that's number one. She don't want to revisit the rape. So I'm not even going to bring it up to him. You see that?
Yeah.
That's how trauma operates. We think we can bury it. You can't. So that's one issue. Number two, if I tell him this, how do I know he ain't gonna share it with his mother, his best friend, his brother? We as Black people have a very poor culture of confidentiality. We don't keep things confidential. You know, I look at my life, right? I've never discussed my personal, intimate moments with women, with nobody. If anybody ever found out about me and a woman, I don't care if it was high school, she had to tell it. Because I consider the woman so sacred, and her giving me that part of her so sacred, nobody will know that this ever happened. But I know few men who are like that. A lot of men are like women. They want to run and tell everything that goes on in the relationship. If there's no confidentiality in the relationship, nobody's ever going to disclose anything. A woman has to know that if I tell him this, even if we don't work out, this never goes into another person's ears.
Now that's true. You got to keep that trust and confidentiality and loyalty to the relationship. That is true. That is a key component to a relationship, to keep the trust. My bad, chat. My sound fucked up. One of my headphones died. God damn it. Hold up, chat. I'm trying to get this going. Hold up, chat. And we still failing out here. What the hell is going on with this stream? This is a funny stream. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so AirPods are failing. I don't know what's going on in the chat. But Jesus Christ. Shout out to Mo Deep with the $10 super chat. Mo Deep says, here's the name of the article. Our epidemic of loneliness and isolation, the U.S. Surgeon General's advisory on the healing effects of social connection and community. Look at the incel femcel issues. Okay, so that's the name of the article. Okay, damn. Mo Deep, are you in the Discord? If you're in the Discord, you can wait, what the hell's going on in the chat? Okay, I gotta stop everything I'm doing. Y'all are going off. What the hell's going on? Oh, you guys are just lying. Oh, that's what's going on. Oh, y'all are getting finessed, bruh.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Stop the cap.
It's a total fabrication.
Fucking lie!
Okay, so the chat is going off right now because TaylorMade said that TaylorMade said she's a man, and Chronic Introvert said that he's a lesbian. So we're in super troll mode. TaylorMade has called in before, chat. Y'all seen TaylorMade? Unless TaylorMade's part of the T community and we didn't recognize, TaylorMade is a woman. Chronic Introvert has been subscribed since 1982. That's a nigga. That's a man. What are we talking about out here? You guys just be lying to the chat. We know who y'all are. Yeah, Taylor has clearer skin. She was pissing me off. I'm like, how does this woman have more clear skin than me on camera? I'm going outside. She's shitting on me on my own show. Like, what the hell? Clear ass skin. Fuck out of here. But 1982. Yo, my brain is rotted. I'm not even coherent at this point. I don't even know what I'm saying, bruh.
You were the same way. If you got a man who's been sexually abused or grew up in a foster home but nobody knew it, or my mom is really my aunt because my mom left me on a step, if I tell her this and we end up not working out, is this table talk at girls' night? You see, so people got to really feel you're a safe space before they start to divulge that part of themselves.
It's expose culture right
now.
Every
everybody's being put on blast right now.
And that's exactly why a lot of us are not willing to tell our significant others the type of pain that we carry around with us every day. Because if this gets out, it'll be used against me by people who are not for me. And so in my effort to bring some healthiness into our relationship, you just unearth my trauma for the world to use against me. Trauma is a hell of a thing, gentlemen. It's a hell of a thing. People bury it and they don't like to bring it back up. And see, here's the thing. To your point, there were 4 things we needed as children. If you got these 4 things from both parents, you needed it from mom and you needed it from dad. The opposite sex parent is more relevant though, although both are important. You needed intimacy. You needed your mother to love you and you had to feel the love. You need your father to love you and you had to feel the love. Remember, a woman's first love affair is with her father. It's not sex, it's psychological. A man's first love affair is with his woman, with his mother. It's not sex, it's psychological. If my mother loved me right, I'm not afraid to love a woman when I grow up. You see that? And I have confidence that if this relationship doesn't work out, I can leave it and find another one. You see that?
Yeah.
If that woman's father loved her, she won't have trouble loving a man. And she's not going to walk around scared. Is he cheating? Is he going to hurt me? Because her father validated her womanhood so much that she knows if it doesn't work out, I can leave and find another one. Women who had their fathers in their lives in an intimate, healthy way. Men who had their mothers in their lives in an intimate, healthy way, they operate in the dating game completely different. If y'all think about the women you dated who had a loving relationship with a biological father, and the women you dated who did not know their father, I'm quite certain you can tell some differences between them. Trust, anger, vulnerability, confidence, completely different man and woman. So you need intimacy, that love. Second thing you need, and these are in no order, availability. Was mom present in your life? Was dad present in your life? Was they at the football game? Was they at the basketball game? Did they come to the birthday parties or were they absent? Did you have parents who abandoned you? So you got intimacy, you got availability, then you also have reciprocity. Did mom and dad do for you? Or did you have nothing at all? When your shoes got holes in them, did they get you another pair? You understand that? When you were still hungry at dinner, could you get another plate? Or did you live in an environment of scarcity?
Now, see, I've been hitting the correct buzzer because he's been spitting. Now he's been saying stuff. I know this is still kind of in the realm. Some people are going to be like, this is still in the realm of basic things, but people should know these things. And these are the foundations that should be set for a healthy individual and a healthy upbringing. Now, no, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that, TaylorMade. Shout out to HT. What is that? I can't. HT Baldwin. HT Baldwin says, I'm the new guy. Black openly gay man who hates bullshit. Shout out to you, bruh. Shout out to him, because we don't, when somebody's, that's the misconception when I hit these drops and I'll be like, I'll do something like this. It's for them closeted ass motherfuckers that be propagating hate towards black women and women in general, but they be in the closet and angry like Myron Gaines. That's who the fuck we clown. We're not gonna do that to a motherfucker like HT Baldwin. Shout out to you. We no disrespect for you in your lifestyle choices. Do what you want to do, sir. Shout out to you. Let's get it.
So you got intimacy, you have reciprocity, you have availability, and the fourth one was trust. Could you trust your father when he gave you his word? Could you trust your mother when she gave you? If your mother dropped you off at grandma's and said, baby, I'm going to the mall. It's 12 noon. I'm going to be back at 8. But you didn't see her for 8 days later. See that?
Yeah.
Any trauma we got from our parents, especially the opposite sex parent, we carry over into our dating relationships. This is why nobody should be marrying anyone if you didn't meet their parents.
And this is the thing. With the if you didn't have an upbringing that he described, the one that you were fulfilled from both parents, pause. I don't, why that even, whatever, man. Fuck is wrong with me? Jesus Christ. If you didn't have one of those upbringings and you were devoid of those that type of love and support from both of your parents, and you are damaged, this is like me trying to lend a hand of pseudo therapy for y'all. This ain't no real therapy. This ain't shit. I ain't saving lives like Myron and Fresh. If you were devoid of that, the recognition of that alone, of what you were supposed to have and what you were devoid of, the simple recognition of that and the understanding of what it's supposed to be and how it's that will, just the understanding alone will help you. even though if you have that void and that trauma and that pain, the understanding of what it's supposed to be and what functional relationships look like, just the mere understanding of what you missed out on and what it's supposed to be, and truly understanding that will help you go further. Because a lot of people are devoid of those things and they carry that pain and that trauma and they just propagate it and push it out on, you know what I mean? On the people that they deal with. But I'm going to wrap up this stream, chat. I'm literally going to wrap up the stream. We got a lot to talk about outside of this topic, but I'm done with this. Relationships aren't easy. There is no one solution fix all relationships. So it's going to definitely be a very intricate, nuanced conversation whenever we're really talking about relationships and forwarding the conversation. But today has been a lot of circle talk, and I haven't even added anything new myself. So I'm going to stop shitting on Umar for not adding anything new, because in relation to this, or in contrast to this reaction, I haven't said much either. This stream, it's been a dub. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. The likes are still looking dusty. And the mouse died. Yeah, we out, man. Yeah. All right, if y'all want to continue the conversation furthermore, join the Discord. The Discord link is in the description somewhere. Hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal. We out.